welcome to the future, otherwise known as episode 52 of tomorrow's World Audit Time. Good afternoon, Mark.
Good afternoon, Ross. How are you?
A little bit warm, Mark. A little bit toasty, a little bit sweaty. I don't know about you. I see you not wearing your usual blazer and tie today. You've just got you got a shirt with one button undone on it.
I do, Russell. Yeah. It's absolutely gorgeous. You know, it's not as bad as yesterday, so it actually feels quite mild as a result. Yesterday was like 34, 35 degrees or something like that.
Yeah. Of course, yesterday, longest day of the year yesterday. So that does mean nights are drawing in, Mark. Soon be Christmas.
I was about to wish you a happy Christmas, Ross.
Episode 52.
It's the most wonderful time of the year. Sing along, Russ.
It's just a bit depressing that it's come around that quickly, though, isn't it? Is it?
How many shopping days, Russ?
52. Significance of 52, Mark? 52 weeks in a year.
52 weeks in a year, yeah.
52 cards in a deck of cards.
Yes.
And do you not find that a lot of people, including Americans, think that America has got 52 states?
I am surprised by how often you hear someone asked how many states there are and they and ah and have to think twice and then guess 50? It does shock me. I don't know if they land on a number that isn't 50, but it does shock me how few people seem to be confident that there are only 50 states.
It's a nice, easy round number to remember. Maybe it's 2 round. Do you think it's 2 round a number?
Do you think it's untrustworthy?
Yeah,
suspiciously round.
Like they've gone, I think it's 50, but that seems like it's too easy. So I'm going to say 52 because there's 52 weeks in a year. I think I might know what they're doing. I don't know.
No, I don't know. It's a good observation. It's one I've noticed too. But it just seems odd because, to me, I've always known it's 50. Yeah. It's not even like it was that recent that they added the 50th either. No. It's not like in our lifetime it used to be something different.
Well, with any luck, they'll be adding a few more soon anyway, Mark. Yeah.
Fingers crossed, Russ.
Fingers crossed. Anyway, episode 52. I was trying to think, what can we do this time? And then you revealed to me, Mark, that you recently got yourself a cheeky new little job. You drove the little gravy train to a new station, didn't you, Mark?
I did, Ross. Yeah.
I'm
not started yet, but but I'm in the middle of riding the rails to that new station.
So I just thought, well, let's see if we could find an episode of Tomorrow's World that has anything about job interviews or something like that in it. And I did. I found one. I did find.
You did amazingly, quite quickly, actually.
So 30th of May, 1991. So it's an episode that's got a thing about job interviews in it, and a load of other stuff. Quite a wide range of things. They pack. This era. They pack it with quite a lot of stuff, don't they? So
always
plenty to talk about. So we might as well, get into it.
Get on with it.
Yeah,
let's do it.
Hi there. Tonight we'll be showing you what's hot and what's not with the help of this and the band. Straight in the charts at number 27, Pop Pickers and Climbing are a group whose performance can best be described as mechanical. We'll be seeing more of them later.
Also, I'll be testing this, testing me. Could it really be a good way of choosing the right person for the job?
And we'll be finding out why cats love catnip. The answer could spell death for greenfly. But first...
Now, it's amazing what you can do with a temperature tester. Peter told me it'd be something near something hot. Definitely cold-blooded over there. There are a couple of cars over here. Well, the temperature's not going up there. But the exhaust there is a lot hotter. Gotcha, Peter.
All right, but that was far too easy a clue. And actually, I have to say, it was also something of a red herring, because although this machine is perfectly capable of measuring high temperatures like a hot exhaust pipe, it was actually designed for supermarket chill cabinets. Last month, the Food Safety Act made it an offence for shops to keep foods like soft cheeses or cooked chill meals at temperatures above 8 degrees Celsius, because at higher temperatures, bacteria like Salmonella and Listeria can breed. Normally, if a store was worried about, say, the temperature of a yoghurt here, they'd have to do this to it. Now, that's a probe in there that is giving us a temperature here of exactly 0. I hope it's working there. Well, there we go. But you wouldn't want to do that to too many of your yoghurts. With the new testers, you can actually stand back from the cabinet and simply point at whatever it is you want to measure. Now, we're getting a reading here of 4 degrees. There we go. Well below the 8. Like a thermographic camera, the tester works by measuring heat radiation. I will show up white hot on the image, and even cold food radiates. You'll see it as red. The tester detects the radiation, calculating the temperature of whatever it's pointed at. Incidentally, the red spot here is from a built-in laser which just helps you aim at whatever it is you want to measure. Now, planted somewhere in this cabinet is some food that's been under the studio lights and then put back amongst the cold stuff. So I'm going to see if I can spot exactly where it is. We've got a built-in alarm on this thing as well, so if I do come across it, it should... there it is. It's somewhere back here. There. It's that yoghurt there registering 15 degrees. And if you looked at that on the thermographic image, you can see the yoghurt glowing white because it's hot. So that would be taken straight off the shelves, and the problem would be traced. So if you spot someone armed with this in your local supermarket, they're tracking down hot food in the cold store and keeping microorganisms and the law at bay.
Well, we have the introduction there, Mark, with Howard. Howard presents a show for us, and first of all, before we even get started, we've got to mention Howard's outfit, haven't we? I know he told us off for mocking his outfits, but
I know he did, I know. It's not our fault.
Resplendent in a mustard jacket and lilac t-shirt.
It's beautiful.
It's
a beautiful sombre.
Yeah, really pops, as they say.
Yeah, especially later on.
Yeah, that classic purple and yellow combination. And then we see obviously Judith is wearing a full purple jumpsuit, and Kate's got a sort of a lovely sort of turquoise jacket on as well. So it's a real. I mean, this is definitely the '90s, early '90s, isn't it, Mark? There's no mistake in it.
There can be no denying.
Yeah. The one person standing out though, Mark, the one person not assaulting our eyes with pastel colours is Peter Macann. Peter Macann is wearing a business suit, like he's turned up to sell us a mobile phone or something.
Well, kind of a dated, kind of late 80s power suit, right?
Yeah,
an explosion of grey.
Yeah. I mean, we know he likes grey, but normally he tops it off with a nice grey or beige item of knitwear.
Or yellow knitwear, yeah. He'll have grey slacks, obviously grey slacks. He'll have grey slacks and some kind of slip-on loafer, and then, a brilliant jumper. He's denied us. Yeah.
But I think, I don't know about you, I don't know, Mark, what you think about this, but I think it feeds into my theory about this, is that obviously we then go straight into the first segment, and Howard's waving around his new temperature tester. Mm-hmm. And he points it at a pair of cars that are just in the studio at random. And they're TVR S3s, if you want to know what the cars they are, Mark. They're very unusual. Like, didn't make very many of them. You wouldn't see very many of them on the road. So I don't know why there's two of them parked there. And it turns out that Peter...
Is it a Rover, Alan?
Yeah, Peter is in one of them. Mm. So my theory is that is actually the Tomorrow's World studio car park. Two of the presenters drive TVRs for whatever reason, including Peter Macann. He's just driven to work and pulled up in the Tomorrow's World car park and got out of his car. And he hasn't had time to change into his knitwear. So that's why he's wearing the suit. Because he wears the suit normally around the house and when he's out shopping and things like that.
Yeah.
But when he comes to the studio, he then changes into the knitwear for the show. But he's just arrived a little bit late, so he's just getting out of his car there. And that's why Howard points the gun at his car. What do you reckon? Is that...
Well, I mean, I think in my notes I said I was confused as to why they were using cars at all. Like, this makes no sense to me. So, to be honest, Ross, I think your theory has some solidity to it. I can't think of anything better to explain away exactly what's going on. I didn't notice that. I noticed that they were slightly fancy cars, needlessly fancy cars.
Yes.
I didn't notice that they were matching. I didn't notice that they were rare. I don't know. It's just bonkers. I don't know. I don't know why they've done it. It kind of, and some of those things were like, maybe I'm tired of my old age. Maybe I'm getting crotchety, but stuff like that kind of annoys me. Why have you done that? Explain yourself.
I did actually check to see whether there was an episode of Top Gear that week that included TVRs, but I couldn't find one. So I thought maybe they had them in the studio for that or something like that. Maybe they just blagged them and they're just, like journalists can blag cars, can't they? Maybe but it does seem like there's some sort of TVR promotion going on here because there's no real need for them to be in there at all. Do you know what TVR stands for, by the way, Mark?
No, I don't.
Trevor.
Shut up.
The man who started the company was called Trevor.
Are you serious?
Yeah. That really does, like... I always think, oh, you got this, like, macho sports car. It's called Trevor.
Trev. Oh my god!
I
had no idea. No, I would never have guessed. Not in a million years. In my head, I was thinking, oh, what if it's something to do with like the TVG? Is it Trans Vitesse Rotomobile?
Yeah. Anyway, we get past the car bit, the needless car bit, and then we get to the meat of the segment. And Peter.
And can I just say, by the way, this exhibition of the thermometer gun thing works so much more effectively than the car thing.
Yeah. Although it does look like the display's been sponsored by Sainsbury's. I don't know if you noticed that. All of the food on there.
I didn't until you pointed it out. Yeah.
But yeah, so they've got one of those, well, just a supermarket shelf really, chiller cabinet with some pizzas and some other ready meals and things, yogurts and stuff in it. And Peter's demonstrating that he's got this new temperature gun that he can wave around, and it'll tell him if one of the yogurts has got too warm, and he then proves it by then showing us predator vision, which confirms that yogurt is indeed warm. So yeah, it's a great demonstration. It did make me think about, though, what it made me think about, Mark, isn't it mad that it's only recently they've started putting doors on supermarket chiller cabinets?
Yeah, I think the first time I saw one, I remember thinking, like, why hasn't this always... No, initially, like, you go, like, why is there a barrier between me and the food? and then you open it and you go, like, oh, it's nice and cold in here.
Yeah.
Why hasn't there always been doors?
Yeah. Think about all the electricity that must have been burning through over the years, just not putting a door.
We used to be rich once, right, as a nation.
It's not like we're not used to fridges with doors in them. We've all got fridges which have got doors on them.
No. None of us have a chiller cabinet at home.
No. Oh, I'd love one here, though, today, though. I'd love a chiller cabinet next to me today.
True.
Just stick my head in it for a bit. Apparently, I looked it up, and apparently a supermarket chiller cabinet with a door in it saves 40% more of its power compared to an open one, which is unsurprising.
Complete no-brainer, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Have you ever seen the ones they've started to have in America?
We saw one in America.
Which you can't see through the glass. There's just got a screen on it.
Yeah.
Which is the most insane...
It is so stupid because how much power... It's like we were just thinking, like, well, why not... Like, I used to be able to see inside to see exactly what was there because it was glass.
Yeah, but now I've got to look at a visual representation of what's in there, which might not be real, might not actually be true.
But also, like, how much power is that using? What are you saving?
Yeah. I looked at it's obviously it's to sell advertising, so that they can advertise while there's nobody up against it. But apparently, Walgreens tried to install 10,000 of these things. American pharmacy,
Boots, right?
Yeah. Although American pharmacies sell everything, they sell beer, ridiculous. They installed like 10,000 of them, and then realised that they're rubbish because customers hate them. They have a tendency to not work properly, and some of them were actually catching fire.
Oh, brilliant! So that's exactly what you want from a fridge.
So Walgreens tried to get out of their contract with the suppliers, who were called Cooler Screens. Cooler Screens decided to then sue Walgreens for $200 million for breach of contract. And then, to hold Walgreens to ransom, they just switched the screens off.
I knew you were going to say that.
So people were going to a branch of Walgreens and couldn't see what was in any of the cabinets. Welcome to the future, Mark. What?
This is what we were promised,
late stage
wasn't
capitalism.
It? Yep.
Yeah. Amazing. So yeah, as far as I can tell, this is just a thermometer gun or infrared thermometer, of which we see all over the place. I don't know whether this is like its initial use. We've never seen one before, or whether they've developed a different one for supermarkets. As far as I can tell, it's just a standard temperature gun. Relies on infrared. It actually uses a laser to aim itself, which Peter does not mention, which is a shame.
He does mention it, but only at the end.
Oh, he mentioned it.
He says that little red dot is just the laser, so you know what you're.
Oh, he did mention it. Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
I was worried we wouldn't be able to tick off the laser section.
Oh, my friend. No, there's an entire Predator section we can tick off. Every Predator trope has been covered by this one item. All that's missing is that noise that it makes, you know.
Yeah. Of course, if you wanted to buy one these days, Mark, you could get one on Amazon for a mere 15 quid. They are all over the place. You could go around. You could take one down the supermarket yourself if you wanted, and start testing the temperature of yogurts. So widely available now, Mark. I don't know. I presume this is the first use of them. Obviously, we started noticing them everywhere when COVID hit, didn't we? Because then suddenly you wanted to get on an aeroplane or, I don't know, go into a zoo or something. People would... I don't know. They might not have used it as
Why was that your second? Okay.
I was trying to think of something with an entrance. People would aim at your forehead, make sure you've not got a fever, which is, of course, they're perfect for. I think it'd probably go off if you aimed it at my forehead today, to be honest. So they definitely do exist, Mark, and they're doing absolute gangbusters. But the thing is, I don't believe, and I couldn't find any evidence of the idea that they've got somebody in Sainsbury's going along the shelf like a temperature gun,
Like an assassin.
Yeah, like a temperature gun Leon, individually scanning every single item of food on the shelf.
No.
Because imagine how long that would take. That would take all day and all night.
I think the way I read it, though, was that it wouldn't be Sainsbury's who did that. It would be like your local environmental health inspectors who would go along and, like, fire at a random sample of objects.
Yeah,
that's how I read it. But that's because I come from a local government
pencil
side
pushing background.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense. But of course, I mean, obviously these days, these shelves are absolutely covered in sensors. You've got sensors for everything. So and there'll be some central computer, and as soon as one of the yogurts gets too warm, an alarm will go off somewhere, and somebody will go and address it. The one thing it can't cope with, though, obviously, is the thing that really, really annoys me, Mark. I don't know if it annoys you, where someone has clearly put something in their basket, and then when they've got approached the till, they've decided, I don't want that anymore. And that thing is something that requires chilling or freezing. And they've just chucked it in with the bog rolls or the bleach.
Yeah, they've left it on the shelf. Yeah.
That's so infuriating, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's so disrespectful and so wasteful. Because
that's the thing, it's disrespectful. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's either wasteful or dangerous. Because one thing will happen, either a member of staff will find it and have to bin it, or a kindly other customer will see it and then go and put it back. And there's no guarantee that it's not already got too warm and it's now full of E. coli.
And you don't know how long it's been next to the bog rolls.
No. Outrageous behaviour.
It's poor form. What's it like in Holland? How respectful are people there for stuff like that?
Well, I've never seen that happen, but the thing with Holland is that because they try to work as little as possible, they don't have the concept of restocking supermarkets at night. So, obviously in Britain, you get a load of kids in who come in at midnight and restock all the shelves ready for the morning. That doesn't happen in the Netherlands. All restocking happens during normal business hours. So no matter when you go to the supermarket,
they're restocking.
The aisles are blocked with crates and cages and pallets, and there's members of staff standing in a way at the shelves, just restocking them all the time. There's been times I've gone into like Lidl and I've not been able to actually get to the food that I want because there's been too many things in the way of the shelf. It's an insane system.
That does sound infuriating.
And it makes it, particularly if there's something you really want.
Yeah.
And you've got to just like push trolleys out of the way to find this, one particular jar of spice that you're looking for or whatever. It's absolutely, it's insane. I don't know how or why they think that's an acceptable policy, but everyone seems to put up with it. Well, all Dutch people put up with it. It's one of the number one things that British people complain about the Netherlands. Along with,
when you secretly meet each other.
Yeah.
We complain about the constant restocking.
Yeah, we complain about that, the slow service in restaurants. And
I've witnessed that myself, actually.
And how small,
especially when you pay the bill,
how small their toilets are. But yeah, other than that, lovely place. But
no complaints, right?
yeah. But it's all to do with their work-life balance being very much tilted 99% in the direction of life. So
bastards.
Probably why I fit in here so well, Mark. I mean, first segment, absolute, all good. I mean, it's not an exciting product, but it's certainly one for the success column.
Let's keep the good times rolling, Russ. Let's keep the good times rolling.
The so-called Garden of England, and like many other gardens, it's plagued every year by something mean, green and very hungry, the aphid.
Hops are as popular with aphids as they are with brewers. The hop aphid, Phorodon humuli, has become resistant to most approved insecticides, making the future extremely grim for hop farming. So in this field, they're trying out an insecticide-free approach, and in the process, testing out that old adage that no one ever dies of love. Doesn't smell of anything to me, but to a male hop aphid it should prove irresistible, because it's been laced with a love potion dubbed the scent of death, which has been developed through an understanding of the aphid's fascinating life cycle.
Most aphids don't need sex to reproduce. A female can give birth to copies of herself without help from males. But aphids that live in cool climates have to produce eggs, because only eggs can survive cold winters, and the only way to produce eggs is by having sex. That's a potential weakness.
In the late summer, female aphids lay both female and male offspring. The females then fly off to their favourite winter haunt, the plum tree. Here they produce more females. The males, following on a few days later, mate with those females. Eggs are laid on the trees, and by next spring, a whole new batch of hungry aphids hatch out, ready to fly back and feed on the hop fields. So how do the males find the females? Well, they do it by smell, because every female produces from her back legs a scent which attracts males. And scientists at the Rothamsted and East Marling Research Station have, for the first time, managed to isolate the exact chemical which attracts the males, and they plan to use this to curb the aphid population. Female aphids release their scent in minute quantities, less than a billionth of a gram at any one time. But even those small amounts can be trapped and analysed by a gas chromatograph. And this is what you get. Each peak represents a different chemical, and somewhere amongst those hundreds of chemicals is one, or perhaps two, that will attract male aphids. And the best way of finding out which is the right one is to ask a male aphid.
This one is having electrodes put into his antennae which will detect his response when he gets excited. Catherine is going to release one by one the different chemicals that make up the female aphid scent until we get to the one that attracts male aphids. And that's the one.
It seems that ingredient X is closely related to the chemical produced by this plant, called catnip, because of the effect it has on cats. They're very, very attracted to the scent.
Since it has the same effect on male aphids, the researchers are now using the catnip plant as the basis of their aphid attractant.
Back in the field, test trials have been going on all week, and the results have been very convincing. This dish is baited with essence of aphid, and it's attracted over 150 insects. This one, with plain water, has no aphids in it at all. Having proved that the artificial scent does work, the scientists are setting their aphid traps for the very first time today.
Males are attracted to the traps by their bright yellow colour. They're then lured into the top of the trap by the artificial female aphid smell. Once in this chamber, the aphids are exposed to a fungal infection. When a male aphid flies off and mates, he passes that infection on to the female. The fungus kills both aphids, and the result, hopefully, is less aphids next year.
If this works on a large scale and farmers like it, very soon we could see on sale something very similar for insecticide-free aphid control in our gardens. And that's a prospect not to be sniffed at.
The so-called Garden of England, Mark.
Disgusting, Russell. Disgusting. What does she mean? What is she implying?
I think she means indisputably the Garden of England. I think that, so called. It sounds like she's putting some sort of negative spin on there. Maybe I'm just detecting a negative spin where there's not. Maybe she's just using so-called in a different way.
You say that, knowing knowing that I had exactly the same response as you. So cold.
I mean, it's a garden so richly and densely packed with plants that they can't possibly separate the hops and the plum trees, which is the entire problem that they've got here.
Yeah, exactly. we can come round back to that a little bit later. I think. Yes, exactly. Yeah.
We get a surprisingly large number of orchard segments, don't we? I mean,
and aphids.
Yeah. Actually, I did check. We have only had aphids once before.
Well, we've had red mites, aphids,
Yes,
and to me, they're just like colourful aphids, right?
Yeah. Last time we had aphids, it was on our 1976 farming special, and it was the aphids detection network that they'd set up.
Oh, yeah. That was a fun segment.
Yeah. So that one was just detecting them, whereas this is trying to kill them. We should get these guys, get the guys together.
I know, yeah.
Make a great team. I was thinking that if this segment had been made in the 70s or the early 80s, considering it's about hops, there would almost certainly have been Kieran in a pub at some point in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can't have a segment about hops and not mention beer, but Judith manages to do it. I don't think beer gets mentioned once.
No.
It's
the dog that doesn't bark, right?
Yeah. But anyway, so Judith is in this beautiful Kentish orchard next to an oast house, dressed a bit like a Doctor Who, I think.
Yeah, I thought that was a good shout.
Yeah. And she's explaining to us the problems of aphids, which are eating the hop crop, and then scientists have been studying them. You thought the study looked like it might be a little bit cruel? I
just think that whenever we've seen segments in which an animal or a creature is tested for its response to pheromones per se, but like some kind of scent, they often look like they're being tortured. And I suspect it looked to me very. I have no love for insects, but it looked to me very clear that this aphid had been glued to a petri dish, and electric sensors were being shoved into its antennae, and then this callous Harden Catherine was busy listening to Vivaldi as this poor creature screamed out in some kind of, unresponding sense of yearning for whatever chemical it's being bombarded with. But other than that, looked perfectly fine.
The use of the classical music and the headphones during it did sort of give it that sort of mad evil scientist quality. And her lab was...
So it was like, you can imagine her increasing the volume as the screams got louder.
Her lab was very dark and gloomy as well, wasn't it?
It was, Ross. I almost couldn't see.
It was a shame they'd not thought of bringing in some coloured lights to brighten the place up, actually. I was a bit disappointed by that.
That would have been a boon.
But yes, Catherine's unethical, evil work has paid off, though, because she's discovered that the...
chemical X
that's the sort of the pheromone that the aphids give off when they mate, which they don't have to do, Mark. They just mate. They just reproduce by mating if they feel like it. But if they don't feel like it, they could just plop a clone out. Imagine if you could do that.
I'm going to say, Russ, that is fucking cheating. That's what that is, and I don't trust it.
If you don't
get to pick and choose.
If you could asexually reproduce, Mark, would you pop a clone out for a laugh?
No, that sounds disgusting. That's one of the worst sentences this podcast has ever said or heard.
See whether they turned out the same. Whether they turned out the same or whether they look the same. But I mean, whether they behave the same.
I barely like myself. Do you think I'm going to love a different version of me? I don't think so. And where does it plop out from?
I dread to think.
Exactly.
But when they do mate, they release this pheromone, which happens to be the same chemical which is released by catnip, the feline drug of choice. And then we cut to a greenhouse, Judith's in there with a ginger cat in her hand. And I'm going to say this, Mark, looking uncannily like Ripley in the film Alien. I don't know whether
quite astonishing, Russ.
I don't know whether you agree with this. But all the way back in episode 1, I suggested that Judith Hann was the Ripley of Tomorrow's World Team. And then we come to this episode, and she's standing there clutching a ginger cat who looks exactly like Jones from Alien, the cat. that Ripley spends far too much time trying to rescue, and is probably responsible for several of the crew dying.
Yep.
This cat is absolutely loving the catnip, as many cats do. So then the scientists go, right, so what we need to do, we need to basically create a honey trap for the aphids by getting this chemical and putting it in some special traps, and then the aphids will come along, attracted to the colour yellow. So they've made the cats cut the traps yellow. They'll come along, see the colour yellow, then turn up, and then go, oh, smells like aphid sex in here. I'll have a look, and then they get trapped. Job's a good one.
They do. That's how it's sold to us, and then by the by, Judith just very, very casually throws out the idea that, oh yeah, that water's also laced with a sexually transmitted fungus that's going to kill them all.
Yeah.
It's like she focuses all the attention. This mystery pheromone is like brilliant. We've lured them, and then they barely discuss the fact that they have either also discovered or tailored a specific sexually transmitted disease to wipe them all out.
It's almost like the aphids are undergoing like a sort of puritanical morality tale, isn't it? Really, like they.
Oh yeah.
It's like sort of they're being lured by sex and drugs. And then catching an STD and dying.
It's like the Canterbury Tales, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah. And I did notice that Judith, what did she say? She said, when she was talking about the aphids having sex, she said, the only way to produce eggs is by having sex. And that's a potential weakness.
Potential weakness, yeah. How romantic.
Which I thought was interesting. But aphids, Mark, I tell you what, I know you won't believe me. But this segment, actually, I found the researching of it the most interesting, because I found a couple of very interesting things here.
Okay.
And I don't know why I didn't discover this when we last looked at aphids. I think maybe I was more interested in sugar beets last time. So your aphids, the reason why they're so horrible to plants is because when they land on a plant, they stick their little beaks into basically the veins of the plant and start sucking the juice out. And when that happens, that comes out at quite high pressure. The aphids take whatever nutrients they want from it, but because they're small and don't move around very much, there's a far more sugar in that plant sap than an aphid would ever need. So it extrudes the sugary liquid out of its anus, or whatever an aphid's version of an anus is, at high pressure, and then it kind of just like either sticks to its back or just collects around the back of it. Now this stuff is called honeydew, and it is exceptionally sweet and tasty. And the thing is that other insects have cottoned onto this. Like, other insects absolutely love aphid honeydew, right? So much so that ants farm aphids. So they when an ant comes across an aphid, normally an ant, if it sees something the size of an aphid, like an insect size of an aphid, it will probably just eat it or kill it or whatever. If it sees an aphid, it will protect it. They come out and they protect the aphids, and they just like start like drinking their honeydew. They'll protect them from any other predators. The ants have got a special pheromone that comes out of their feet that makes the aphids more happy and docile, and also increases their honeydew production. So they actually become like proper. So basically, the ants are farming and milking aphids, right? Not only that, when the aphids do lay eggs, if it gets a bit cold, the ants will come out, collect the aphids' eggs, and take them into their burrow to keep them warm over the winter, so that their eggs are protected, and then bring them back out in the spring, right?
Jesus.
Do full farming of aphids, right? Another insect that is well into aphids, bees that live in the woods, right? There's not very many flowers in the woods, but there are aphids. So rather than going and collecting nectar from flowers, the bees will just go and collect them off the back of the aphids, right? But this does mean that you can get honey that is made from bees that get their nectar from aphids. It's called honeydew honey. It's popular in certain parts of the world, like the Black Forest in Germany, for example. They love it. But because it's been passed through two insects, it's super concentrated and super sweet. So it's darker and sweeter, and it's like prized. It's like it's passed through. It's been double concentrate insect squeezed honey,
doubly extruded.
Yeah. So I really want to taste some now, Mark. I want to see what that's like. It's got to be good, isn't it? Isn't it?
It's got to be sweet, right? I don't know. Do they not have any? I mean, you're near Germany. Can't you just pop over the border and grab some?
I think you can order some online. Actually,
I'm sure you can.
They're kind of some of the. I did look online a couple of places, and they're kind of cagey about where it comes from. They kind of skip over the fact. Some of the websites kind of skip over the fact that the bees are feasting on
aphid shit.
Aphid shit, yeah. For some reason, I don't really know. Not sure why. Yeah, and I found out what the killer fungus was, Mark.
Oh yeah,
it's called Pandora neo-aphidis.
Okay.
Yeah, Pandora. That's another sort of morality thing, isn't it? These aphids are like interesting. The reason why they've tried to just synthesize that, because you'd think, well, why don't they just get a load of that and spray it on the plants, and then the aphids will just all die then.
Oh yeah.
Apparently, it's just incredibly difficult to make in a lab and like transport and store and things like that. So they just can't use that. So that's why they have to try and think of other ways of killing the aphids, because they're tough. They're pretty resilient to pesticides. So they're always trying to think of new ways of getting rid of them.
So let's in that case let's unpin where we started and go back to the fact that we are told very clearly that they love living on plum trees. So why the orchard owners of Kent persist on growing plum trees? Grow them in Essex.
Because Kent's the garden of England, Mark. You can't grow them in Essex.
It just seems like an obvious solution to an aphid problem is to not provide them with substantial housing opportunity next to your fabulous hop farm.
Well, but the solution that I thought of was clear to me. Watch this: is why don't they plant a big field of catnip next to the hops? And then I looked online, and it turns out that it is they do recommend.
They do that.
Gardeners garden people do recommend if you've got
garden people,
horticulturalists. If you're growing, some I know raspberries or whatever in your garden, and you've got an aphid problem, they say, plant some catnip next to it, and all the aphids will go over to that. Because obviously what's going on here is that the reason the catnip and the aphids make the same smell is that the catnip is producing that smell because all insects hate it. It's an insect repellent, apart from for aphids, because aphids produce it when they're having sex. So they're producing that smell to repel other insects,
to keep away
so
insects.
They don't get eaten while they're having sex, as Judith says, is a weakness.
Yes.
But the side effect is that catnip really attracts aphids because they're the one insect that loves that smell. So what you end up happening? Yeah, you end up. So I saw somebody online saying, "Help! I've planted my catnip next to my blueberries, and now my catnip is covered in aphids." You go, "Yeah, that's the point, mate."
But also, you want that, right?
I think they wanted to keep the catnip as well. I think they were hoping that the aphids would just disappear.
That's nice.
But then I was thinking, hang on a minute, what the cat's got to do with this? So then it turns out that the name of this product, this thing that comes out of catnip, is called Nepetalactone, and it affects all domestic cats, although only 2/3 of them will admit it, which I thought was interesting. A third of them are too cool for school, so they just pretend it's not affecting them. They'll just sit there quietly, but they're definitely buzzing. It basically, when it hits the cat's olfactory nerves or whatever, it releases loads of endorphins in them. So it has the same effect on cats that heroin or morphine have on humans.
Yeah.
Luckily for them, though, they don't get any withdrawal symptoms, which is why you don't have any sort of like cat train spotting type situations around catnip bushes. But then people were wondering, well, why have cats evolved to get high on catnip? What's the thing? And then somebody in 2021, somebody published a paper suggesting that, well, the cats are being encouraged to rub themselves in this catnip because they're loving it so much. They're rubbing themselves in this catnip.
Yeah.
Which now means the cats are insect repellent themselves.
Don't get fleas.
Which means they don't get fleas, don't get bit by mosquitoes, things like that. So that's why they do it.
That's
the circle of life, Mark. The circle of life. It's astonishing. I just loved the way each little bit was connected to each other little bit.
Yeah, that's it. I believe you. That is quite interesting. I can see how that would have been very enjoyable process.
Yeah. Yeah, as far as I'm aware, the actual traps themselves, I've not seen. They're not using any sort of industrial scale. But yes, catnip is used as an aphid remover, but only in domestic settings. I don't think it's used. I don't know why you wouldn't just plant a hedge of catnip around your.
Yeah.
Problem is, I mean, everyone that owns a hop farm's drunk all the time, Mark. So they probably don't read these things or listen to these things, do they? Too busy down the pub.
Don't quite have time to get round to it, do they?
No.
I'm going to pop and get a drink. Can I get you anything?
What general common name is given to the substances known as saccharides?
Sugars?
Correct. What is a medical term for a sensation of ringing in the ears?
Tinnitus.
Tinnitus is right. And at the end of that round, you have scored 13 points.
Well, just because you can answer a few questions doesn't necessarily mean that you're clever. What you need is a good memory. Mind you, Mastermind Champion on the old CV may help you in the job market, but to make sure you're made of the right stuff, employers now use a whole battery of tests.
The most established is the IQ test. It measures your ability to reason. And personality? Well, graphology, as it's called, claims it can tell a lot from the way you loop your G's and cross your T's. It hasn't done well in recent scientific trials, but its popularity shows what lengths employers will go to. There are more accurate ways of looking into personality, asking questions like, do you think things over before doing anything? Do you like to arrive at appointments in plenty of time? Not very subtle.
Now, what all these tests can't measure is how well a person performs when they're actually doing the job. But it's claimed that this equipment, developed by Dr. Paul Barrett at the Institute of Psychiatry, can do just that in 10 minutes, and it's impossible to cheat. Now, it works by flashing up 2 lines here of different lengths, and you have to judge which is the longest one. Now, we're going to start off nice and easy. Paul, half a second those lines will appear. Which one's the longest? Quite clearly the left one. Let's make it a bit tougher.
OK, we'll try one here at a quarter of a second.
OK, which one's up for the longest? Which one's the longest one? Ooh, I'd say the right.
All right,
Yeah?
You're correct.
OK.
And we'll try one that's very difficult here now.
What's that?
This will be 10 milliseconds.
Now, don't worry. No one has been able to get it right at that speed. The idea is that the machine finds the minimum time the pattern needs to be up for the subject to consistently get the right answer. But Paul, can looking at flashing lights for about 10 minutes be as good as complicated tests over a number of days?
If you want someone who can perform several jobs at once, is confident of their own skills, and is capable of performing accurately for sustained periods of time, then yes, this can.
How did you develop this test?
As a byproduct of research in the early 70s on visual perception, they found that this task correlated with IQ. That is, the higher your IQ, the less time you need to see that difference.
Why is that?
We feel it's related to the biology of your nervous system and brain.
Now, doing a job well isn't just to do with intelligence, is it? How can this tell you how well people are going to perform?
When the going gets tough on this task, what we find is a great range of behaviours. Now, these behaviours range from people who can do the task very well, cool, calm, collected, maintaining accuracy of performance. Others simply fall to pieces on it.
Well, we did have our own guinea pig. Kate volunteered, and we can see a recording of her doing the test. What was her approach? How did you do?
We can see Kate doing it here. She was doing very well. It's fairly difficult now. She's concentrating hard. She's not really moving, which is good. I'd say she's pretty good on it.
All right, well, we'll find the result. Kate, how did it feel?
Well, it was hard work, but when it got onto the really fast ones, it just seemed to become a subconscious reaction. You either knew them or you didn't. Anyway, how did I do?
You did very well. You only needed 28 milliseconds to see that difference. With this equipment, you'd be classed as a high flyer.
Oh, how about that?
But what evidence is there that it does actually work?
Research in our lab has shown that this test is related to more established tests of IQ and performance and personality. In addition, its use as a recruitment tool by us has saved us hours of time, money and effort. And we took it into a local government department and we're pleased with the results now.
Well, Howard, are you going to have a go then?
No, I don't think I need to.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Barrett.
You took it into a local government department, Mark.
He did, Russell.
Now, I believe your new job you got recently was for a local government department, wasn't it?
It was for a local government department, Russ, yeah.
So I'm assuming that you have taken this test, have you?
Are you on the edge of your seat, Russ? Is your breath bated? No, I did not take this test, Russ. This was not an option that was provided to me.
Have they updated it and got you to play a game of Candy Crush instead?
Plants vs Zombies, Russ. Come on. We're not that advanced in local government yet. No, it was the classic panel approach to interviewing, where people sit down in front of me, or I sat down in front of them, and they asked me a series of questions.
How antiquated, Mark. How
I know.
outdated, how stuffy.
Fools.
Yeah, they need to get with it. They need to get with the future and challenge you to press a button when you see two lines flash on a screen, which is definitely, that's all you need to know. If somebody can press a button when two lines appear on a screen, absolutely management material. Absolutely. Straight in there.
Yeah. Though I did say to you, like so that was a few weeks ago that I had. It was more than a few weeks ago. It was about a month ago that I had that interview. And it was about 2 weeks ago. I had that interview, and the following week, so about a week ago, I went to the opticians, and I had a test whereby I had to put on a VR set, and little white dots flashed around me at various different intervals for various amounts of time, and I had to pull the trigger. And Russ, I did very well, and I reckon my optician, I think she thinks I'm quite the high flyer.
I mean, that'd be great if everything in life just turned into some sort of flashing light reaction competition.
Yeah.
I mean, that'd be fun,
killing it, right?
Yeah, it'd be fun. Although the problem is you'd end up with hardcore gamers ruling in charge of everything, wouldn't you? No. Well, speaking of games, the segment starts quite interestingly with Howard in the mastermind chair.
Yes.
And I did check. It is. I took a good look at it, and it is the proper mastermind. It is the actual mastermind chair. The reason you could tell that, Mark, is that I'm sure you know about posh furniture, don't you? The mastermind chair. The mastermind chair is a soft pad lounge chair by Eames, which is a padded version of the famous aluminium group chair.
Yeah.
However, the chair, if you bought a normal one, the feet have wheels on them. And obviously, if the mastermind chair had wheels in it, you'd have the contestants skidding all over the studio. So when they made Mastermind, they pulled the whole bottom off of the chair and put the bottom of a completely different chair on it. So it looks the feet of the Mastermind chair are not Eames; they're from something else.
Oh,
but they've not got wheels on them. And if you notice the one Howard's sitting in, that is very much the case. So that must be the original. The original Mastermind chair was given to Magnus Magnuson when he retired. Do you know that?
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. Last scene on episode.
It's kind of cool.
Last scene on episode of the repair shop when his daughter brought it in because it seen better days. So she got it. She got the leather reupholstered.
That's kind of cool.
Which is also probably nice because imagine the battering that chair. Yeah. The leather of that chair is received from nervous contestants.
The farts and back sweat of anxious people over the decades, right?
Yeah. But anyway, yes. But Howard is being. I think what they've done here is they've just taken a random clip of Magnus Magnuson from an old episode, and he asks Howard two questions.
Yeah.
The first one, your opinion on this, Mark?
I agree. Totally agree. I know what you're saying. Totally agree. Carry on.
Magnuson asks the question, what general common name is given to the substances known as saccharides?
Yeah.
As if it's like a Greek god.
Yeah.
Surely it's saccharides. No?
When he said... When I started jotting down the questions, I thought, I don't even know how that works. How do you spell saccharide? I've never heard of saccarides, and yet it means sugar. So I had to type it in, and then it came up, and I said, that says saccharides. Yeah. That's how that's pronounced. Yeah. I was quite astonished. Yeah.
I'm amazed Howard got that, considering...
Yes, that's true. Wow. Howard is smart.
Yeah. Although, having said that, I do have this weird memory from my childhood. And I don't know whether we'll ever find it, but I do remember Howard on one episode of Tomorrow's World did once call the Himalayas the Himalayas.
The Himalayas.
Yeah.
Oh, I quite like that though.
Yeah. So maybe he's used to strangely pronounced long words.
To be fair, he does pronounce a word later on in this episode in an odd way, though I suspect that's to do with how it's pronounced in the country that the company's from.
Oh yes, yeah. But he looks, obviously, this is why he's wearing his mustard jacket, isn't it? Looks great again.
It pops, Russ. It absolutely pops.
Well, listeners will be able to see because I believe it's our title card, isn't it? So yeah. Have a look at the title. Have a look at that title card. Look at it. It's gorgeous.
Open your phone. Have a look. Yeah. Look at it. Look.
But then we go across to Kate And she says that sort of employers have been using a variety of different methods to try and test. They're trying their very best to get around the idea of actually talking to the applicants and working out whether they're any good or not. Everything needs to be reduced to some sort of exam. And she mentions graphology. And
She does.
this is one of those things where I think, it's absolute quackery.
Absolutely bonkers.
I want to have a, but then I seemed to remember reading way back, at university, that there were companies that actually used it, like law firms or something, or financial firms, something like that.
Serious professional organisations, right?
So obviously I thought, I better see, is that still around? Is that still allowed to happen? It turns out it's a French invention, 1830, by Jean Hippolyte Michon. Obviously very popular in the 19th, 20th century. The British Psychological Society ranks it alongside astrology in having zero validity.
Oh, fabulous.
But unbelievably, in certain parts of the world, it's still going strong, particularly, unsurprisingly, France. So it's like, oh, we invented this. We are going to continue to pretend that it's still worthwhile. So in 1991, when this was made, 91% of employers used graphology to select candidates.
Wow.
These days, companies are much more cagey about admitting they use it because they know the rest of the world think it's bollocks. So they kind of don't say either way. But it's estimated between 50 and 75% of French companies still do use it. Yeah.
But then here's the thing, I make notes. I use a fountain pen. I have a notebook that I'm, that's for me. It's like, so I have handwriting, and I think it's people recognize my handwriting. Not many people write stuff anymore. So what can it possibly tell you? No. Obviously, if it had any scientific credibility, you would get more from analysing how people text, surely. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, and apparently in America, Coca-Cola, the FBI and the NSA still use it. But with the FBI and the NSA, I reckon that's probably just so they can build up a database of people's handwriting so they can solve crimes more easily.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But it's not banned anywhere. It's not banned in Britain, but the British are obviously much more sceptical about it. But I can imagine if you were working for a French multinational or something, they might get you to do it. In which case, I'd be absolutely screwed. My handwriting's appalling these days. I can't read it. I can't read my own writing because I write so rarely. It has to be in block capitals for me to have any.
That's true, actually, because I think when you did send me something, maybe for my 40th? Yeah, it was in block capitals. I've got it around somewhere, actually, still. Yeah, I do. But I recognise your block capitals because you only ever write block capitals.
Yeah. Because if I try and join handwriting, it's utterly illegible. And my signature's gone. I mean, I can't do my own signature anymore either. My fingers have completely changed. Most of my fingers just don't work in the same way anymore, I guess.
Oh my God, they've atrophied.
Yeah. Anyway. So then we come across to a magnificently mustachioed man, Dr. Paul Barrett, who is the inventor of this crackpot device. He looks great, doesn't he?
He does. He looks fabulous.
I couldn't decide whether he looked like a Colombian drug dealer. You thought he looked a bit like Rene from Hello Hello.
Before all the women had drained his essence.
But yeah,
he also looks a bit like Mr. Holiday.
Yes,
from school.
Yeah. There's definitely like a Hispanic sort of, or Spanish or some sort of
Latin, kind of, because he could also be, definitely Spanish. Actually, probably some more Spanish, Mexican kind of thing. Yeah, you're probably right. Actually, yeah, Latino.
But he's demonstrating this product test. I did find Dr. Paul T. Barrett, and that's do you see a photo of him at the bottom of the?
I do. I assumed it was him. He looks really happy.
He does. He looks more happy there than he did, and he's lost his lovely black head of hair.
He has, yeah,
and his moustache has turned into a sort of a grey beard.
I can only assume he's happy because his essence has been drained by a sequence of French-made style women coming in.
Well, he's dead now, Mark. I'm going to say. I'm afraid he died. He died 6 months ago.
Oh gosh.
I found I've found a tribute to him on LinkedIn. Yep. That's how I know he's dead. Past. But everyone seemed to like him. They said he was very much a leader in his field until his death. He was working for a company called Cognidev, which their website is an impenetrable barrage of corporate buzzword guff.
Oh, yeah.
But they are some sort of psychometric testing company. So he was still very much working out in that up to his death. And it does seem like he was still doing reaction-based things, because Cognitive's main product is called the Cognitive Process Profile. This is their description of it.
Yeah.
An advanced computerized cognitive assessment technique or test that externalizes and tracks thinking processes to indicate a person's cognitive performances and capabilities. The CPP involves an unfamiliar task which requires the person to explore, analyze, structure, transform, and remember information, and to monitor his or her own problem-solving actions. The CPP scoring engine integrates the movements and story interpretations into a comprehensive analysis of cognitive function and learning potential. The CPP is not a speed test, and the candidate can work at his or her own pace. It normally takes 1 to 3 hours to complete. Innovative, dynamic, valid. So I'm assuming that it's an upgrade from two flashing columns.
Yeah.
But it does sound like it's probably got some sort of reaction to unknown things element to it. But it's not got a speed element, which is unlike this thing. Because this thing's rubbish, isn't it? Like this is just 2 lines and reacting to them, and then there's no explanation. The only explanation is that if you react quicker, that means you're good at everything.
How this tests anything other than your ability to do this test, I don't know.
No.
And when because this is the thing that annoyed me is that when asked, Howard asks him, why is that? You know, when I think it was like how this is a connection between blah, blah, blah. And the guy said, Dr. Paul says, we feel it's related to the biology of your nervous system and brain. And that is the sum total of the insight he provides us into why he believes this test, his feeling or their feeling that this has something to do with your nervous system and brain. It's like, it is so unconvincing.
Yeah.
I was like, you know, and I'm, as it happens, Kate is a high flyer, right? We know from previous episode, like she was an incredibly well educated, studied person.
Yeah.
But how this tests anything other than your ability to do this or do similar activities, I don't know. Again, going back to my interview, they asked me questions relating to the job I was applying for, in which I gave clearly convincing answers based on my experience and my ability to preempt questions and prepare in advance.
Yeah.
Hence, they then also gave me a kind of a little presentation to do about a thing that is going to happen in the next 12 months, which again, they found my answer clearly convincing based on my experience and understanding of the issues. That strikes me as a much more successful way to find successful candidates than whether I can fucking spot which column is higher than the other.
I mean,
no, I say that as the person who got the job. Maybe all the other people they interviewed completely disagree.
Especially all the ones that practice on column spotting.
Yeah, they do bleep tests at home.
And people listening might think, oh, Russ and Mark are just bitter because they couldn't do the tests. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
Because they do 3 tests, don't they? First one is a very slow one. We get that. Second one is a slightly faster one.
But you can see. You can
still
see.
see it.
We're smart enough to see. Yeah.
Third one.
Couldn't see it.
No one
Couldn't
can get
see
it.
it.
No one can get it. No one can get it.
It's too quick.
Yes. Was it 28 milliseconds? No one can get it.
Faster. No, it's like 10.1 or something like that. Yeah.
No one can get it. Well, we might not be able to get it, Mark, but thanks to the beauty of freeze frame technology, it's not going to escape the video, is it? So I went back and I froze framed it.
Wow, you're really proving him wrong, aren't you?
And I've taken a picture of that and put that on the document, Mark.
Yeah.
Which column out of those 2 is longer than the other one?
It's a good question, Russ, because to me they look like they're exactly the same length as each other.
They are, aren't they? It's an absolute swizz.
Because they completely fill the entire screen. It's almost like they just flashed the complete columns.
Yes. Wow, what a swizz.
Unbelievable. I am in no way shocked. I know you shouldn't speak ill of the dead, and he does seem like a really lovely guy, but he's a fucking grifter. That's what I'm saying.
Do you reckon Barrett would rig it in his favour? He's like, so he would flash it up for himself, knowing which one it was.
You thinking like Dr. Venkman at the beginning?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's got. Well, you can apply for my job, but you have to beat this test. And if you don't beat this test, then I'm afraid I have to keep the job. And he just did that all the time and just always maintained his position above everyone because he was the only one that could pass the test.
Do you think he had a little mug saying "World's #1 column detector" or something like that? Column length discovery.
Yeah. Did you find Kate a bit? One thing I like the fact that when suddenly Kate disappears because she's apparently been taking the test, and then it seems like she must have just been hiding behind a column for part of it because Howard.
Well, we know how good she is at columns.
Oh yeah. Because Howard and Paul are just chatting, and then suddenly Howard calls for her, and she just appears out of nowhere. But then she seems like she's doing like this weird acting thing. Do you notice that? Do you feel a bit?
It's interesting because I did enjoy the footage of her doing the test because she genuinely looked like someone who was concentrating very hard or had that kind of blank look of somebody who was in the zone.
Yeah.
Which I think is probably, if it's discovering anything, it's discovering people's ability to kind of zone, focus on one activity. And then, as she says, like by the end of it, like it's almost subconscious. She does give off that kind of enthusiastic head girl vibes where she knows she's done well, but she doesn't want to let it on, but actually it's kind of leaking out of her. So that's why I think the actiness is her trying to pretend like she doesn't know she fucking nailed it again. That was my reading.
That's good. That's probably is it. Yeah. I just thought she was trying to hide her thinly veiled contempt that she thought this was absolute nonsense. But
we're all contemptuous unless we're really good at it.
And then it just finishes off with a lovely bit of a little bit of comedy from Howard.
Comedy bit from RH. Yeah,
they ask him if he wants to take the test.
His line delivery, I'm so frustrated because his line delivery of "No, I don't think I need to" is so well delivered. Like as an aficionado of delivery of lines, like a lot of the comedy I've loved over the years is about the way someone delivers the line, not the line itself, but like the delivery of it. So I really wish he hadn't kind of done the side-eye look to the camera and then gone...
pulled his collar out.
Yeah, which is like hat on a hat kind of thing. But like the line delivery, honestly, chef's kiss. It was gorgeous.
In conclusion, I don't think anyone's going to challenge you to a column challenge if you apply for a job, but you might get psychometrically tested, in which case it's probably a rubbish job. Don't do it. And if they offer you graphology... maybe do take the job because it'd probably be for a French company, in which case you'll get really long lunch hours.
Absolutely. You'll barely do anything, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but you probably also won't get it because your handwriting will be terrible. Unless you're French. Does that mean they all practice their handwriting at school? They must do,
They must do, because all French handwriting looks the same, right? So maybe that's why.
Oh, does it? I didn't know that.
All French, you see somebody's French handwriting, it's like, it just feels like there's a French handwriting look. And maybe it's because they know this graphology nonsense, so they all kind of game the system.
Yeah. So there's no eyes.
I suspect the fact that you and I doing the test would write in English probably would rule us out anyway.
No, I just started with haw he haw he haw.
Well, there you go. That'll confuse the system. Yeah. Why is this person? Is he naturally French?
Yeah. I'm always a big fan of the employer who takes the big stack of CVs. Takes half of them and throws it in the bin, saying, "I don't want unlucky people in my organisation."
You're lucky to get this job. Yeah, fuck's sake. Unbelievable. There's so many awful people out there who should be given no authority whatsoever.
Oh well. Shall we see what's happening in Prague?
Ooh,
or Prague, as I like to call it.
Now for a little something that Judith ran across on a recent trip to Prague.
Ty jezdíš taky na kole? Tohle by tě mohlo zajímat. Podívej. Jsou tu dva kotouče, které se posouvají proti sobě. Jeden z nich je spojen s oběma půlkami talíře. Otáčej s nimi směrem k sobě a talíř se zvětší. Oválný tvar je velmi účinný, rozděluje energii rovnoměrněji než kulatý talíř. Na kole je páčka na řidítkách, když ji zmáčkneš, zachytne jeden z kotoučů. Když budeš šlapat dopředu, převod se zvýší. když dozadu sníží. Převod však není stanoven napevno, uvidíš sama, jaká změna převodu ti vyhovuje.
Děkuji, že menže se hezky. Ahoj.
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 Well, no further explanation needed, Mark. That's absolutely clear for all our listeners, I'm sure.
Yep. Right. So next.
Yeah. Wow. Is that our most impenetrable segment ever for the audio?
Certainly for the podcast listener.
Well, apart from all of our Czech fans, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Loads of Czech fans. Prague is littered with Audit fans.
I thought it was interesting that hello and goodbye is ahoy in
ahoy.
Czech,
yeah.
And famously landlocked nation as well. And I was associating ahoy with seafaring.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that came about. Also interesting that when Kate introduces this, you noticed this.
I did.
She says, here's something that Judith ran across on a recent trip to Prague, as if it was...
They magicked upon this, coincidentally.
Judith was just cruising around Prague in her... Is it New York Yankees? Was it
New York Yankees jacket.
Bomber jacket, which is a very unusual choice.
Very
on
Judith, right?
Judith. And some little lad who, I mean...
Yeah.
No bones about it. Looks like a miniature Jimmy Savile.
It does a bit.
with his long
Savile-esque,
with his long blonde hair and white vest.
Dishing out all those medals to all the kids as well.
Just rides up to her and explains this newfangled bicycle.
The oval is more efficient than the circle.
Yes, yeah. And I was thinking, Mark, is it time that we added niche bicycle development that never goes anywhere to our...
I kind of feel like we might have to.
Because we seem to get one every episode now. Yeah, we could get rid of one of the other ones that we don't seem to have anymore.
We can do. We can discuss that later. What we'll replace it with. So niche bicycle segment. Before we get on to this, I just want to say, you know how I wrote down, I don't feel like this made it into the future because I've not seen one of these bikes. And I live in Hackney where there are at least 2 regular unicyclists. and it dawned on me, it's like, when I read that, I was like, oh, that's actually true. I said, but actually, I've not seen them for a while, so maybe it isn't true. Maybe I'm lying to Russell. So hopefully you'll be as amused as I was when my friend and near neighbour texted myself and Josie this morning a picture. He was out and about in Clapton where we live. And this is what he sent us on the phone. Can you see this picture that he took?
Is that a penny farthing?
2 penny farthing cyclists in Hackney today.
I've seen a great video of a penny farthing bloke in Stoke Newington on a penny farthing, absolutely clattering into the side of a panel van, which cheered me up.
Richly earned.
Yeah. So obviously. Well, actually, before we get into this piece, the music, Mark, I don't whether you recognise the music.
No, I did not. And I was shocked when I saw who it was. And
pour yourself a bath. It's Chris Rea. Yeah, this is one of his lesser-known songs. It's certainly not on either of his greatest hits albums, which I used to listen to a lot when I was a kid. What's interesting is that it's the B-side to one of his more famous songs called "Let's Dance," right? And then I noticed something, right? This song is called I Don't Care Anymore. So he released a record where one side is called Let's Dance, the other side is called I Don't Care Anymore. And this is in 1987. In 1983, Phil Collins released a song called I Don't Care Anymore, and David Bowie released a song called Let's Dance. So is this the only case where somebody has released a record where the 2 songs on it have the same name as a song by other artists from the same year in a different year? That seems like the sort of thing boring music people would. But I tried looking it up on the internet.
Russell, I have good news. I think one of our listeners might know the answer to this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Tomorrow's World Auditime at gmail.com. You boring musos.
Yeah, this kid is demonstrating this bike thing, and it's the chain ring on the bike is actually 2, rather than having 1 gear that the pedal goes around. It's got 2, and they can go apart from each other, which sort of means that the cog is getting bigger. And if the cog gets bigger, that makes it more difficult to pedal, but makes the bike go faster. If the cog gets smaller, easier to pedal, bike goes slower, right?
Yeah.
So it all seems to make sense, but we've never seen one.
I get what it's doing, but I've never seen one. Yeah.
And in previous episodes, we have always looked at these bike things and gone, well, I don't know, what is that? Did that ever exist? Yeah. Maybe we should have asked our listener, Graham, who is a bike expert. This time, I thought, I'll preempt that. And I'll ask Graham before the episode so that he can then tell us.
The same idea. I think I even texted you saying, should we ask Graham? You're like, Mark, I'm already doing it.
And he did get back to me.
Yeah.
And with a very good explanation. So he'd never seen this particular thing before either. However,
interesting.
He's seen two things which, if you combined them, would kind of be this. So the first thing is that you can definitely get oval chain rings on bikes. So if you look at the bottom, so they do. So I made it because I knew I'd find this really difficult to explain. So I got a GIF of what's going on.
I see it. No, it makes sense. Yeah.
So because all of the power is when your feet are at the horizontal because you're pushing down. So that's when you want the power stroke. So that's when you want the wheel, wheel to be as big as possible because you're putting as much power into the wheel as you can. And then when your feet are at the top and bottom, that's when you've got your least amount of power because you can't apply any downwards force. So that's when you want it to be easiest to pedal. So then it's squashed. So that's why it works. That's why it works as an oval. I'm sure everyone listening, this makes absolutely no sense. So just look up oval chain ring and then you'll understand it.
Yeah, makes sense to me, but that's because I'm watching this GIF, as you say.
So that's definitely a thing. So when the kid says, it's oval, it's more efficient, he's not lying.
Okay, I buy that now, I understand.
And then now click on that link underneath. So then the second thing that Graham said is that there's this new thing which looks very complicated.
Jesus.
And I suggested it looks like Johnny Five from Short Circuit.
Oh, yeah, it does, yeah. Like he's drunk.
Yeah. So what's going on there is that is two cogs. Well, it's actually four cogs, but there's two main cogs. And one of them can change its size because it can flip little bits of cog out to make itself bigger and smaller. So that's basically doing the same thing that moving them apart would be doing, but it's not moving them apart. Rather moving apart, it's just growing in size.
Yeah.
So that's the that's the Praxis Works HIT, if you want to get one for your bike. But it looks very complicated, doesn't it?
It looks really complicated. I'd hate to have to deal with that on the side of the road.
No, I think the idea is that it's a sealed unit, so you don't need to do it. It should always it should always work fine. So thanks for that, Graham. That made my research much easier. In conclusion, this exact edge doesn't work, but there are things that work on the same principle. So it's half a...
Okay, so it's philosophically correct.
Correct.
If incorrect in execution.
Yes, and if that child hadn't been, arrested for historical crimes, then maybe he would have been able to take it to market.
Yeah, oh well, you three got there in the end, right?
Yeah.
I understood every word she said. Now, what could make personal television more personal, or even virtual reality more real? Well, perhaps this little piece of plastic. Last year, we showed you a video game which was the first practical application of virtual reality. To see the computer-generated world in 3D, you have to wear a helmet that has two liquid crystal television screens inside it. But one of the things that makes it less real is the quality of the picture. When your eyes are really close up to the screen, and I can simulate that by putting this little set here up against the lens of this special camera here, that is what you can see. You can see Judith's face there, but there are thousands and thousands of tiny dots, pixels, picture elements, and it's not that easy to watch. But if I put this thin strip of that plastic over the center of the screen there and then replace it, try and get it straight there, all of those dark lines have disappeared. Now, this plastic has lenses scored into it by a laser. They diffuse the light from the screen, which makes the separate pixels less obvious. Now, I can show you in a sort of way with this board here and a studio camera. If that camera defocuses, the dark frame lines disappear. But obviously this plastic isn't just blurring the whole picture, or it would all look out of focus. There are almost 2 million lenses inside the plastic which diffuse light in a controlled way. The light from each pixel passes through 2 layers of tiny lenses which focuses it, so that the lines vanish without losing too much picture definition. And better picture quality could mean easier viewing in the future for a truly personal television set.
Pixels.
Pixels.
I quite like that pronunciation.
I do too. I really enjoyed it. I think it's my favourite thing in the segment.
Which one are you more likely to adopt, Pixels or Saccharines?
I think I'm more likely to say pixels on a daily basis, but Saccharines is so much more satisfying to say, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean, little segment. Virtual reality, obviously, this was the start of the first virtual reality boom, wasn't it? Those virtuality headsets, I still, if you just say virtuality to me, I still think of those headsets are still what I think of as virtuality. Especially the BBC seem to love them. They seem to be on everything, all over the place.
There was that Craig
Cyberzone.
Cyberzone.
Yes. It turns out they were developed in Britain at the University of Leicester. So that's probably why the BBC loved them so much, because they were a British thing. They could brag about being British and also get free use of. Obviously, I do think it's weird though that even now that you can get commercially available virtuality kit quite easily and relatively inexpensively, and we've got powerful enough computers and consoles to run it. I don't know anybody with a virtual reality. Do you know anybody with a virtual reality thing?
I don't think I do. No,
it's weird, isn't it?
No,
you think people would be all over it?
Yeah, I mean, you think of some of the amazing games we played over the last few years, and you go oh wow, wonder what it'd be like playing that in VR. And I think you probably come to the conclusion where you're like, not enjoyable is probably the answer. Yeah, no, I genuinely don't think I know anyone who has one.
No. Yeah,
the only thing where I've seen it, not in real life, but where you go I kind of see how that might be a thing, is that, the Apple ones whereby it's more like it's AR really, where it's super, this pass through. So now all of a sudden you can have a 150-inch TV in your room because it's right there and it kind of sits in your wall. And if you look left, it stays where it is. And, you can have little, have you even seen where people go, well, I'm watching the sports, and I've just put the screen here in my kitchen, but I'm also cooking. And then just above the pots, there are little timers.
Yes, that was a big thing when they released that. Yeah, I remember that now.
That pass through AR stuff. Okay, you go okay, I can see how that would work. But ring me when they're in my glasses.
Yeah.
And I don't have to wear the thing in my head. No, it doesn't really. People seem obsessed with making it a thing, and it just doesn't seem to happen, right?
No. If it gets to Ready Player One levels where there's a whole extra universe you can interact with, maybe it will. The problem with that is the virtual universe in it seems fun. But the way the real world, what they have to get up to in the real world in order for that to function is so silly.
Yeah.
The fact that they're all on running treadmill
machines,
machines, it just looks ridiculous, doesn't it? It's
but also but I still don't think it. Well, I'm not going to complain about the film or criticize that because obviously it's depicting what happens in the book. But one thing I know, because I've seen reviews of people where they played VR versions of Resident Evil or something like that, and the clarity's brilliant and the immersion is fantastic. But the disconnect between you in 3 dimensions moving forward down a corridor and you being sat on your sofa either has no impact on you, or for a very sizable proportion of the population, it makes them instantly travel sick. It's there's no way around it, right? Yeah. Even if you're standing on a treadmill and you're running to kind of create a sense of movement, you're still not moving forward. So there is, for a very sizable proportion of the people, there will be that problematic disconnect where your inner ear is telling you one thing and yet you are being bombarded with signals telling you something else. I think that's one of the issues. So I think even I think one of the best games that have done it is the recent Half-Life game. Half-Life Alyx, I think it was called. You kind of in the VR, you kind of teleported. So you kind of pick a spot, fire, and you jump over there, and it worked. Apparently, it didn't make it feel but once you're in that spot, you were static, so you constantly had to kind of teleport to a location. And apparently, that was a way of They got round it. However, it's not immersive.
Yeah.
So you can't have it both ways. It's interesting. So, that idea of like the AR pass through, makes perfect sense. I think that's a lot of fun. But I don't know, it's the immersion side of it, the lawnmower man style immersion that we all are so desiring, Russ.
Have you ever sat down and watched The Lawnmower Man? Because I realised while I was thinking about this that I never have. Is it worth it? Is it worth a watch?
No! Well, I mean, yes and no. We watched it when it came out.
I noticed that there's a 2 hour and 20 minute long director's cut for free on YouTube.
Oh, my God.
So I might watch that.
Well, do it before I turn up, won't you? We saw it when it came out on video. I'm pretty sure we saw, we got picked it up from Blockbuster. And partly it's because Pierce Brosnan's in it. So it's a case of like, it's got to be quite good because Pierce Brosnan's in it. And it was... what did it come out, like 95 or something?
91.
Maybe 91, way ahead of its time. I assumed it was 4 years later. It's really awful. I mean, it's really awful. Mostly because of like the depiction of the titular lawnmower man himself who has learning disabilities.
And he looks like Jeff Daniels' character in Dumb and Dumber, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does, yeah. Yeah. 10 out of 10. Russ would recommend.
My favourite ever thing of somebody using VR was during the snooker. And they put a snooker VR headset on Ronnie O'Sullivan. He never used VR before, and they went, "Look, you can now play snooker in VR. Look at this." He puts it on, and he's like really impressed by it. And he's so impressed by it, he goes to bend down to do a shot. And there's no table in front of him, so he just nearly falls over. Right. Anyway, this segment needs to know actually much about virtuality. It's just about solving a problem to do with virtuality, and that's that the virtuality masks have screens very close to your eyes, but because this is 1991, those screens aren't particularly high resolution. So when they're that close to your eyes, you can really see the pixels. So some bright spark has come up with the very low-tech solution of, it's not necessarily low-tech, but sort of practical, sort of rather.
Yeah.
Of
simple.
Of making a special film, plastic film that you can put over the screen, and it diffuses the light enough that the pixels disappear. That seems quite elegant to me, Mark, considering, what they had at the time and all that.
Yeah, it's like it feels like a fudge, but it feels like a kind of an elegant fudge, I suppose.
Yeah. And it turns out, Mark, it is some delicious elegant fudge.
Oh, yummers.
Because obviously we now live in a world where all of our screens have pixels on them.
Yes.
And you'll never guess what.
Do they have an elegant fudge smeared all over them as well?
All of them, yeah. Your TV, your monitor, everything.
Wow, cool.
They're somewhere, because they're generally made up of layers, our TVs now. And one of those layers will be a light diffuser film layer, at least one. There's some of them have multiple layers. You could buy yourself a sheet of it. You could buy yourself 6 sheets of it on Amazon for 20 quid if you wanted to do your own light diffusing. I don't know what you would, maybe you've installed some LEDs in your house and they're a bit too punchy. Want to diffuse them? Get yourself some. Yeah,
sounds great. That's amazing. I would no idea. I didn't realise. That's fabulous. It's lovely when it turns out that it genuinely is everywhere now. And so everywhere you have no idea.
Yep.
Yeah, brilliant. What's next?
Aviation experts are today presenting their case for what they say is the most promising way to save lives in burning aircraft. Britain's Civil Aviation Authority has been studying a water spray system which was first shown on Tomorrow's World 4 years ago. Aircraft fires aren't common, but they can be devastating. It was the 1985 Manchester airport disaster which started intense debate over how to improve passengers' chances of escape from a blazing aircraft. The biggest problem in the accident was smoke and toxic fumes, so many experts suggested that smoke hoods would provide vital extra minutes during a major fire. But the Civil Aviation Authority rejected this idea last month, saying the hoods could confuse passengers and delay evacuation. However, they thought water sprays on board could offer a solution. In their tests, the CAA wanted to see how a fine water spray limits temperature during the first few minutes of a fire. Keeping the temperature down with a spray inside the cabin stops the fire spreading, so there's less smoke and fumes. Now, the white number 16 on top shows the temperature with the spray, and compare that with the temperature below in red from a previous test in an aircraft without the water spray. Well, if aircraft manufacturers don't find major faults with that idea, it's almost certain that within a few years, water sprays will become compulsory on new aircraft.
Now, I don't remember the 1985 Manchester air disaster. You do?
I do, yeah.
Were you there? Were you flying the plane?
At the age of 4.5? Yeah, Russ, and that's why it went wrong. No, I didn't. I don't know why I remember it. It was big news. Yeah, it was big news. I don't know. When we moved to England, we moved to Kent, and then after like a year and a bit, we moved up to Manchester. Well, we moved to Cheshire, strictly speaking, but obviously we flew to Manchester. And I do remember probably being in the window seat and kind of looking out and maybe half expecting to still see scorch marks some 5 years later, which obviously with hindsight was improbable or certainly disrespectful. I'm just going to leave it there. Yeah. No, I do remember it. Yeah. But it was a big deal, you know, that and like the King's Cross.
Yeah, I remember King's Cross.
Yeah.
But I thought it was 87 or something, wasn't it? Something like that.
Yeah, it was a little bit later.
So I did have a little look into it.
You have a little look?
Yeah, I did. It was a flight from Manchester. It was meant to be flying to Corfu, so it was absolutely fully loaded with fuel. And basically, when one of the jets was spinning up, something happened to the turbine disc, which caused it to shatter, and a piece of that flew out, hit the fuel tank. So within minutes, the thing was totally ablaze. It hadn't even got off the ground. But the problem with it was, I mean, you know, planes catch fire, such like. But what the problem with this was this Boeing 737 had some. Oh, no, it's a Boeing. How are Boeing still in business? But it had. When I was reading the report of the accident, the safety features in it are absolutely shocking. So you've got 6 exit doors in theory. The rear ones were out of action because that's where the fire was mostly blazing at the rear of the plane. So no one could go to the rear.
Unsafe.
The front ones, the air stewards tried to open the front ones. One of them wouldn't open because you know the slide thing that comes down.
Yeah,
that was the mechanism of that. Due to a design fault, was somehow blocking the door from opening. So that one wouldn't open. So only the front left one would open. And in the middle, the right one was also too close to the fire. Over the ones over the wings, the right one was too close to the fire, so they couldn't use that one. So they could only use it. So they only have 6 doors. They could only use 2 of them. Right. So at the front, you've got an air hostess who won a bravery award, who's like literally grabbing people,
chucking people out,
binning them out the door. Yeah. In the middle one, you've obviously got this situation where it's between the passengers. But back then, there was no such thing as the emergency exit aisle, right? So there's no extra legroom seat. It's a regular legroom seat, which is 27 centimetres. And not only that, Mark, I've got a picture of it at the bottom.
Yeah.
Look where the seat is located in relation to the door. The seat is across the door.
Yeah.
So it's not in the aisle.
Wow.
So you have to go over the seat to get out of the door. The seat, which the armrests weren't coming down on either. So you ended up in a situation where all of these people are trying to pile in from the back because they're, choking. Everyone's choking on smoke because all of the upholstery of the plane is made of poisonous, like flammable materials. So that's all going up in smoke and releasing deadly, noxious gases. And you've got people piling up by this door because they can't get out of it properly. So in the end, there was 137 people on board. 55 of them died. Almost all of them with smoke inhalation. And when the fire brigade actually got in there was like one 15-year-old boy was the last person they rescued. But when they pulled him out, there was a pile of 38 dead bodies around that central emergency exit because they couldn't get out of it in time. It's absolutely horrific.
It's awful.
So yeah,
God, that must be so horrible.
Analysts said it was very much a defining moment in the history of civil aviation safety. the investigation found that the materials inside the passenger cabin produced highly toxic fumes. I mean, that's when you're designing a plane, wouldn't you go, right, maybe the first thing we should just do is not make all of the stuff inside the plane toxic?
Well, there's this, and I know I've said this before on various different episodes, but I'm gonna repeat the same quote from that episode of Brass Eye. This is the one thing we didn't want to happen, right? Yeah. No, I'm astonished that they. It's so weird, isn't it? It's like, because like the airline industry now, even more than then, is so safe, and yet it's just a reminder that there are assumptions made about what comes before, and it's always assumed like, well, it's always been there, so it must be safe. Because like, actually, in the end, it probably isn't necessarily. And sometimes you do have to challenge these things.
Yeah.
Gosh, just think of those poor people, though, like in such good fate. Anyway, yeah, gosh.
So afterwards, industry-wide changes to the seating layout near emergency exits, fire-resistant seat covers, floor lighting, fire-resistant wall and ceiling panels, more fire extinguishers, and clearer evacuation walls. That's the other thing. They didn't even tell the person sitting next to the exit how it worked. So they spent
obviously they do know.
They spent a minute trying to get the door open.
Yeah.
But what they didn't do is introduce either smoke hoods or water sprayers, which is what Howard suggests in this piece here. Presumably you don't need smoke hoods if you've got an interior that doesn't go up in fill up with noxious smoke. But my problem with the water sprayer is surely that means you've got to have an aeroplane's got to carry a big tank of water, and that's going to weigh it down, isn't it? I mean,
yeah, it's not happening.
Michael O'Leary's not going to stand for that, is he?
No. It's interesting because last night on Reddit I was reading about apparently BA might have secretly removed the service of like little plastic bottles of water from some long distance flights, and then said they're doing it with like, we'll give you a cup and we'll refill it at your request. And it then led on to people talking about like, you used to be able to fill up your bottle on the plane. And obviously people was like, yes, it's true. Yeah. Like there used to be little water taps that anyone could use.
Yeah.
And then obviously airlines realized that's a really expensive bit of weight. All that potable water that you're refilling every time, then you're going to lift off and you're going to pay for all that petrol or, all that, jet fuel. So it's like, that went. So like, the idea that we had this is like, it's not happening.
No.
Instead, make your plane not flammable, or at least not toxically flammable. That does kind of make a bit more sense.
Yesterday, it was the CD or compact disc. Today, it's the digital audio tape. Tomorrow, it's the mini CD. Can things get any smaller? Well, meet the cube. Potentially, a block the size of a sugar lump could hold hundreds of times more data than the old compact disc. The data is recorded using 2 laser beams. Inside the cubes are billions of ring-shaped molecules. These open up if they're hit simultaneously by both beams. Any information can be stored as a pattern of open and closed rings. To read it back, 2 new beams are shone in. These have no effect on the closed rings, but open rings give off a red fluorescent light when they get hit. At the moment, the cubes have to be kept in a fridge or they lose their data. But in about 10 years' time, this could be singing in the heart of your hi-fi.
You were excited to see the mini disc there, Mark. I know you're a big fan of the mini disc.
I'm excited to see the mini disc. I was a big fan of the mini disc player. I don't know why it surprises you every time it comes up.
It doesn't surprise you, Mark. I always enjoyed it for your.
They were brilliant.
Your niche interest in mini discs.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Like I got an iPod, and I think the MP3 was brilliant. But like, I don't know, there was just something about the mini disc. It was just brilliant, and like, it was a happier, gentler time when they were available and popular-ish.
I do feel sorry for the mini disc because they were definitely a better product than they were given credit for. Certainly. Yeah, just a matter of timing, I guess. But how much more exciting would it be to have a sugar cube in your pocket that you can?
Oh my god!
Yeah,
amazing.
That's probably
all in on the cube.
Yeah. That's proper sort of science fiction-y type stuff. Problem is, Mark, what Peter's talking about here has got the technical name of persistent spectral hole burning, and you might notice he says towards the end there, but it needs to be kept in a fridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does need to be kept in a fridge, but he doesn't mention that it needs to be kept in a fridge which is at the temperature of liquid helium. And the problem with it
feels like that might be a barrier of entry to the retail sector, right?
Yeah. You burn these holes in it, which are how the music information is stored. as soon as those holes get warm, they just basically the holes just close up because it just returns back to its natural state. So you would have to carry around a liquid helium cooling device to for that to work, which is, I don't know, it's not that practical, is it, Mark? It's probably bigger than a Walkman, I would have thought, a helium freezer. Yeah. I did look into whether you can store things in 3D, like whether there was any kind of 3D data storage. There bloody well is, Mark.
Oh.
There's 3D data storage and there's 5D data storage, right?
All right, then.
So 3D is basically a fancy CD. So a CD, currently CD, you're bouncing a laser off of the surface of the CD that it's reading information. The idea with a 3D one is that the disc is actually transparent and it has loads and loads of layers of information in it. And you change the depth of focus of your laser, and as you change the depth of focus, it can hit a different layer within the disc. So you're basically stacking up all of the info in there. And they reckon that one of those discs could conceivably store a petabyte of like a normal CD size disc of that could store a petabyte of information, which is equivalent to 1 million gigabytes, right?
That seems like a lot.
That is a lot. They know, they're kind of like going, oh, we know we should be able to do this, but they've not brought one to market yet. But now they've been kind of, their thunder has been stolen because 5D information storage has come. Now that doesn't mean it involves an extra dimension. It just means that it involves 5 different directions of light, basically.
Right. I was going to say, after time, what is the fifth dimension that they're employing here? Okay.
Yeah. But this is actually cool. This has been nicknamed the Superman memory crystal. So it is
okay.
It has to be stored in a 3-dimensional transparent medium, so it has to be like something like glass or quartz, right?
Okay.
It relies on the fact that you can. So it uses lasers. Obviously, everything uses lasers, but it relies on the fact that you could, because it's in 3D. If you look at it from one angle, it can be different information than if you look at it from another angle. So you can store the information from 5 different angles, basically. But the great thing about this is that because it's in glass or quartz, it is essentially, it will never degrade. So if you want to store human knowledge for billions of years, then that's what you use. So if we ever want to stop ourselves from going extinct in the universe, all we need to do is store all of human knowledge in 5D Superman crystals. And these have actually been made, Mark. So there's one at the bottom here.
Yeah.
So you can see that there's a couple of fingers and they're holding that disc.
The Voyager style.
Yeah, it looks like the Voyager thing. So that disc in it's 5 millimeters or something like that.
That's about right, yeah.
That is the entire human genome is stored on that, and which is that's 3 billion. There's 3 billion characters stored on that little rectangular patch on that piece of glass there. So that's impressive, isn't it, Mark?
It's very impressive, and it's from our friends at the University of Southampton, apparently. Yes,
yeah. But both Hitachi and Microsoft are working keen on this Project Silica. So this does actually look like it will become a thing. So that'd be exciting, wouldn't it? Have just carrying around little lumps of quartz or glass or whatever that you can just put in a machine and it'll read it. That's very futurist. Yeah. That's very Star Trek.
I see where the Superman thing comes in. I imagine like a shard of glass and just putting it into a machine.
Yeah. So that's exciting. So once again, the thing that Macann's describing isn't viable, but he's on the right track.
I did ask Josie, because obviously Josie works in IT, if she had. I showed her the clip. I said, "Just you heard of the cube?" And no, she hadn't.
Although it's actually there's such a thing in programming called a data cube, which she probably does know about, which seemed like some complicated programming thing. Which
is resistance futile?
Meanwhile, it's incredible what you can find under the seabed. The Channel Tunnel excavators have just unearthed a fossil which is 95 million years old. In In those days, the climate in Britain was balmy, and these strange creatures lived in our tropical waters. This is its modern equivalent, the nautilus, which now lives in the warm seas of the Caribbean and Australia. Well, this fella is the biggest fossil they've found so far in the Channel Tunnel, and it's now on its way for analysis at the Natural History Museum to see what else it might reveal about the English Channel 95 million years ago.
Channel Tunnel, Mark, one of our favourites.
Yeah. Well, as I was saying, this to me, to my mind, goes to what we were saying when we were doing that episode from '94, all about the Channel Tunnel, was that the Channel Tunnel was very much a live project all throughout its construction, and like this to me is exactly what I meant by that. Whereby, you know, look what they discovered when they were building this tunnel, and that to me was why the Channel Tunnel was such a big deal. It wasn't just like when the inception and when it started. It was more like all throughout its process we were being updated by it. Either in terms of like, oh, they've got this far and let's have a look at how they're building the tunnels, or it was stuff like this, that the kind of the ancillary stories that something like the Channel Tunnel would produce just because of the sheer scale of it.
Yeah. How do you think they discovered it? Like, because I was trying to picture.
I don't know.
Because you know you got the machine.
The tunnel boring machine is not a
goes.
sensitive thing. Yeah.
It's not like they could like look up and go, oh, there it is on the wall. Or
yeah,
so do you reckon?
Because it was automatically putting in. I don't know.
So did they have paleontologists? I wonder if they had like paleontologists like sort of scrabbling around in the dump, like where they dumped all of the rock.
Yeah, the spoil or whatever that was churned out the back. Yeah, it must have been on the conveyor belt. They must have just found it.
Yeah.
Or, you know, yeah. Gosh, that's a good question. I don't know. I did think about it, but then I suppose I dismissed it because like doesn't matter us. They did.
Well, the biggest nautilus fossil ever discovered was 5.7 meters across.
That seems big.
Yeah, but the ones that exist these days are only going to get a 25 centimeters maximum. Yeah, and they're one of the only sea creatures that you can go down to the bottom of the sea, get one, and just bring it up.
And it won't bother it.
And it won't give monkeys. It's absolutely fine about it. If you try and do that with anything else, it will die because of the pressure change.
Pressure, no issue. Yeah.
Nautilus, absolutely fine.
Oh, beast.
You can see why it's lasted so long.
Yeah, clever boy.
What some people will get up to steal this silver. I've got away with it so far, but... and I didn't even touch it.
Kate, you're a high flyer yet again. Now, the silver's protected with an invisible electric field, and that's created by strips in here, metallised strips of tape under the table, and they're linked through a box of electronics to an alarm. The strips act as capacitors, charged metal surfaces which interact, create an electric field in the space between and around them.
If any object moves into that field, it adjusts the field just enough to be detected.
And you can see that on the oscilloscope. The voltage between the strips changes as Kate's hand gets nearer. As it reaches a certain level, shown by the line, it triggers the alarm. Now, we've certainly shown more sophisticated alarm systems, but this has lots of advantages. It's cheap, it's quick to set up, and it also can protect specific objects. You simply shape the tape, as we've done there. And then you have an invisible barrier that only includes the valuable objects you want to protect.
So I can't get away with the silver, but at least I can take one of these.
I was a big fan of Tom Cruise, Mark, and Brian De Palma until I saw this segment.
And the scales have fallen from your eyes, haven't they, Russ? Yeah, I mean, the night about theft, pure raw theft. Yeah. That's what this is about.
Yeah, I could only assume Tom Cruise went into the BBC archive on wires and found this copy of Tomorrow's World, and then copied this stunt for his Mission Impossible film. It's almost virtually identical, isn't it?
I'm positive in the idea he just happened to be in London, either filming or at a premiere, just tuned on to BBC that evening, saw this and said, that's mine now.
Yeah, I remember that. Was it 95, was it? Was it 4 years' time, 5 years' time?
4 years. 5 years? 96.
96. 5 years' time, I'm going to exactly copy Kate's wire work.
That belongs to old Tom now.
Yeah, it's another segment about But I don't like segments about burglar alarms, Mark, because I don't like research.
No,
I don't like researching burglar alarms. They're very difficult to research because there's so many.
Well, then don't. Let's just move on.
Well, no, but then no,
Okay.
but I didn't research burglar alarms.
Yeah.
But what I did do is I wanted to know what the first film to have somebody nick something on a wire was.
Oh, okay, cool.
And I did find it, so here it is. This is Top Carpy, I don't know. From 1964.
Wow. Stealing the dagger scene.
So, yeah, there you go. Top Cuppy.
Wow. Yeah.
Peter Ustinov won a Best Supporting Actor for that.
Wow.
At the Oscars.
To be fair, that was good. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. But what's really interesting is that Bruce Geller, the man who created the original TV series Mission Impossible, he saw that film and went, and how it's like, apparently the whole film is just got is a very slowly, well-planned heist. And he went, I want to make a TV series where people very slowly and methodically do heists. So this film he used as an inspiration for the TV program Mission Impossible. But in that TV program, there was never a situation where somebody used a wire. But then the film Mission Impossible comes along, and then they do the wire bit. So it's like a double Mission Impossible influencing film.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, that was excellent. I kind of want to watch that now.
Yes, yeah. So you could probably get those theft sensors. I don't care. I mean, they work on the same principle as that thing Craig Doyle was trying to get past in that episode.
The invisible fence.
Yeah, invisible fence. They work on the same principle as a theremin, which we've covered before as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
cool. Next.
Yeah, next.
Norsk Hydro were aware of the leaking mercury and were looking for ways to solve the problem. Despite this, their image as a responsible chemical manufacturer was damaged. So they commissioned and then made public a green audit, an independent report on their effect on the environment in Norway. The audit looked at all aspects of their manufacturing processes: industrial waste, air pollution, even local noise. It was a big success in Norway. Even the environmental group that had broken in welcomed it, if somewhat cautiously. So their subsidiary company here in Britain decided to follow their lead and publish their own green audit. It was the first time in Britain that a company had published details of its environmental record and let the public judge for themselves. That decision was taken by the UK Managing Director, John Spears. John, going public with this report was quite a risk, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. I was worried about how the environmentalists might react, how other businessmen might react, and also internally for our management who said, look, we're pretty good, but we're not perfect, so why tell everybody?
So why did you do it?
Well, in the first place, because I believe that the environment is an issue that is here to stay. The second thing is Norsk Hydro is not very well known. I saw this as good PR. And the third reason is that I don't think that businessmen are involved enough in the debate. It's us who are going to deliver the goods, so I want to get more involved in it.
So what does the report actually say? Well, in places the PR does show through and it reads a little bit like an advert, but on the whole their environmental performance seems quite good. You get the feeling that they're chipping away at the problems bit by bit. Some things are almost common sense. This is Hydro's PVC plant near Darlington. After the plastic is made, this sludge remains as waste, but there's still some PVC suspended in it, so it's left to settle out in these tanks before the rest is discharged. This way they recover 500 tonnes of PVC from their waste each year. And to save energy, they've also just installed a heat exchanger, using waste heat produced when the PVC is made to help dry the finished product. These measures are easy though. They're good for the environment, but they're good for business too, and they were already being done. Perhaps Hydro only published their report because they knew they had a good story to tell. Their performance was better than the law demanded, and they were also pretty sure the public wouldn't pressure them into improvements which would then make them uncompetitive. That worry has held a lot of companies back. But now that Hydro have shown that going public needn't hurt, other companies are under pressure to follow their lead. They won't all look as good as Hydro did, and there may be pitfalls, even for the cleanest. It turns out that today's good record could conceal tomorrow's problems, because green audits can go a lot further. Hydro are starting to look closely at the environmental standards of their suppliers, and also at how to recycle PVC on a large scale. The aim is not just to check that the factory's clean, but to look at the product itself throughout its life, from production to disposal, from raw materials right through to the rubbish tip. The EC is pushing hard for companies to do these cradle-to-grave audits and publish them. And if companies choose to make that sort of information public, they could be heading for quite a shock, because for the first time, the public will know exactly how much toxic cadmium, say, or mercury, is being discharged from factories right around Britain in total. And some of those figures could be worrying. They could even force the government to tighten their pollution controls. And for some industries, that could hurt. At first, companies may see a public green audit as good PR, but it brings with it new responsibilities too, so the environment should benefit. What remains to be seen is whether industry will show itself in its true colours, green or not.
This is a weirdly past segment, right? It's very forgiving of the company. It buys into enough of their argument to be, in my mind, slightly problematic, whilst being justly circumspect. And I don't know, it's just the more I watch it, the more I find it actually kind of tonally confusing. And I can't quite put my finger on it, except that it's I know what they're going for, but it's just like they narrowly missed every time. Yeah, it's weird. It's very odd. Like, it's very, because in a sense, it's not really about environmentalism, as you say. It's so much as it is about this company, which is a weird place to start. The environmental protest group who break in are treated like, because of the way the reconstruction is designed, are treated like they're kind of terrorists, basically.
Yeah.
Even though they were 100% correct with their fears.
Yeah.
And the fact that the company then, but then kind of Howard in his voiceover kind of basically says, like, it's not really the company's fault. They knew it too, but like they just didn't want to, they wanted to solve the problem before they scared us all. It's like, that's not the right approach to take.
No.
That's called a cover-up, Howard. And then they're rightly cynical of the fact that Hydro Darlington did this environmental audit, and they call out that it's patting itself on the back for stuff that it was already doing, whilst also saying that actually it's probably quite a good thing anyway. But for me, the star of the show is it John Spears?
Yeah.
Who, very rarely do you have some kind of corporate spokesperson who is so unabashedly honest, who just calls it like there's no PR, there's no spin. He just calls it like it is in his mind. So, like, there are four, like, massive truths. I like the way he only discussed businessmen, not women, or business people. It's all men. His management didn't want to do the environmental audit because they seemed to think that there was something to hide, which he is quite happy to tell us. He thought this was actually, he admits this is a PR stunt because no one really knew who the company was. No one they do now because it's been on BBC One at 7:30 on a Friday. And then he thinks that only businessmen will deliver the goods in the end. Like, his faith in businessmen is so strident and like honestly held that, like, I find it quite remarkable. It's almost like it's a religious tenet, which I quite like. Except that, again, his parent company really did leak 160 tons of mercury.
Yeah.
Which surely is like the key, it's the cornerstone. I'm beginning to wrap my head around why I find this so confusing. We need to go back to the beginning, Howard, and discuss the fact that this company, not happily, I'm not saying happily, but did nothing about 160 tons of...
Yeah.
Do you know what? That old thread, I kept thinking of poor Jeremy Piven, who had to pull out of that Broadway show because he ate too much sushi and he got mercury poison. How many Jeremy Pivens need there be before we learn?
Yeah. I have to say...
There we go, got there in the end. Now I know I'm so angry.
Throughout this, and then once I'd done the research... I was getting this sense that the Norwegians are the biggest hypocrites.
Yeah.
They are environmental scolds who are actually secretly filthying the environment up. And then it's very, I said, put in the notes, what is the Norwegian for do as I say, not what I do as I do?
Yeah.
They all drive around in electric cars, but then are one of the world's biggest oil producers. And then they've got these, we do environmental audits, but we've been pumping 160 tons of mercury into the Norwegian fjords.
Which doesn't sound good.
No, apparently the government had to tell people they had to ban fish from anywhere in the area because, because of concerns. And what they didn't mention is that they also were releasing a noxious substance called dioxin into the water, which is incredibly dangerous. They didn't even mention that.
No, bloody hell.
Yeah, but these this environmental group, Bellona, who were soundtracked Eric Serra's song, was it
Classic
Napok Mop, which is from the film La Femme Nikita.
Oh,
so
I like Nikita.
Yeah. I've never liked Eric Serra though because he did the soundtrack to GoldenEye, which I hate.
I know. Yeah. Which is fair.
But Bellona, 6 people started their environmental action group in 1986, and then this thing where they broke in 1987 was one of their early things. But they've just got bigger as they went on. They're now called the Bellona Foundation, and they've got 70 employees, and they've got offices in Oslo, Brussels, Berlin, and Vilnius. But I think that means they've probably become they've come in like an NGO.
They've legitimized.
They've been neutered, and they've got that delicious NGO gravy now. They
yum yum yum, slurp slurp slurp.
They own a massive seaweed farm. They're one of Europe's largest seaweed producers. But I think the most interesting thing about them is that they imported the first ever electric car into Norway, which I've got at the very bottom of the thing there, and. They did it with that's the man who started it, and they with the help of AHA. Yeah, and they had AHA did a massive media campaign for electric cars all around. Yeah, so the reason why everyone in Norway drives an electric car is because of the Bellona people and AHA and that converted Fiat Panda. So
I suppose the sun does always shine, right?
Yeah. But Bellona in this are treated like they've got that sinister music, and I watched exactly. I couldn't find out exactly because even on Bellona's website they don't mention this leak at the wherever it was. But it was incredibly hard to find any information about this leak. I can only find one news article in English about it, and it was from the Washington Post, published in 35 years ago. There's no other. It's like Norsk Hydro have gone around the internet and scrubbed all knowledge of this incident from the internet. So all of my information is just from that one, either from this piece or this piece or the Washington Post article. They do kind of mention it in one of their online articles on the Norsk Hydro website, but the amount of PR polishing that they've done to it is astonishing. So this is how they describe the incident, right? An article entitled 1987 Cleaning Up the Dark Side of History. Now, bear in mind, nowhere, I've just taken a section of this, but nowhere in this article is mercury ever mentioned.
Okay.
This was a watershed in Hydro's history. For the first time ever, the authorities had given an industrial player overall responsibility for its discharges and emissions and the local environment. This was the start of modern environmental work in Hydro. Chemical production at the Notodden and Rjukan factories was reduced. It stopped completely at Notodden in 1967 and at Rjukan in around 1990. This brought the environmental work at these sites into a different league from Porsgrunn, that's it, Porsgrunn, and Glomfjord, which had problems with various types of emissions and discharges.
Oh, problems?
Yeah, Porsgrunn
they're manageable.
Porsgrunn was also home to magnesium and PVC production, which had their own particular environmental challenges. Porsgrunn led the way. Hydro's units in Porsgrunn were in many ways leaders in this period. The environmental requirements were stringent, opinions were strong, and the process of changing old industry into modern factories with lower manning levels, higher production rates and better quality was in full swing. This resulted in the development of new processes and purification technology and the replacement of old and outdated technologies. Attention directed to improving corporate communication. The effects were soon tangible. Careful operation of the factories reduced discharges and emissions, and the installation of purification technology resulted in a much cleaner environment. So,
gosh, I don't know what anyone's complaining.
Yeah, and there was something about environmental groups becoming much less proactive or something like that as well.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, well done, lads. You've been busted and you've had to clean it up. That's what's happened.
Yeah. That's incredible.
Yeah, because I thought what was interesting about this piece is the interview with John Spears is interesting, but then most of the rest of the piece is just random shots of the factory with
plant. Yeah,
Howard talking over the top of it.
Yeah,
and there's one section where they focus on an open red door. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't, and I meant to look at it again because you flagged it. I forgot.
They focus on an open red door, and then. For is it 37 seconds I counted? It just pulls back, like it stays at the red door. Then there's another shot from further back, but the red door's still there. And then there's another shot further back, and the red door's still there. And it's like that.
Oh yeah, I'm just looking at it now.
It does that for 37 seconds.
Yeah, that's incredible.
And I think, what's the significance of that red door?
I'm just watching it now. Yeah, that makes no sense. I love it.
But I mean, they could have just interviewed John Spears, really. But
yeah.
He's dead now, Mark, John Spears.
Oh, another one. Another great gun.
Yeah. But according to his obituary... Well, actually, have a guess where he was born, for a start.
Kent. Somewhere in Kent. Tunbridge Wells?
Glasgow. Glaswegian.
Oh.
He was apparently a proud Scotsman. Could you detect that from his accent?
I distinctly picked up no sense of pride in his Scotchness. No, gosh.
He got married in a kilt and everything. Was a big fan of Scottish country dancing. And at school, his portrayal of Josephine in HMS Pinafore was fondly remembered by contemporaries.
Okay, good stuff.
But also, Norsk Hydro, their other claim to fame, they're massive, still a massive company. They're like one of the world's biggest aluminium producers. But they started out as a fertilizer company. But what they were doing was that they were taking nitrogen out of the air and turning it into fertilizer. And in order to do that, you need loads of electricity.
Yeah.
But obviously, being Norwegian, they go, we can make loads of electricity by building hydroelectric plants. So that's how they got into the hydro thing.
Ah, that's where they're hydro.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
World War II, though, Mark.
What did they do?
Well, they had a plant that was making heavy water. You know, the water required for nuclear bombs.
Nuclear bombs, yeah.
So after the Norwegians surrendered to the Germans,
they
started making heavy water for the Germans. Obviously, us over here in Blighty.
Up with that, we will not put, I assume, right?
Yes, yeah. So got together, the British Special Forces got together with some Norwegian commandos who hadn't surrendered, and the famous raid on Telemark. So Telemark was a Norsk Hydro plant. So that famous World War II raid was to obliterate a Norsk Hydro heavy water plant, which they managed to do, as shown in the Kirk Douglas film where he plays a Norwegian with an American accent.
Naturally.
Or more recently, that Ray Mears documentary.
I didn't know that.
Yes, Ray Mears, The Real Heroes of Telemark.
Oh, did you see any lock and lock boxes from Lakeland Limited on it?
Oh, yeah, because he used to come in and buy those off you, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I sold him some.
Yeah. This particular plant that old John Spears is in charge of, Mark. Now, and I think this is quite interesting with relation to the whole concept of environment and all of that. It's in Newton Aycliffe, near Darlington.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't belong to Hydro anymore. They sold it to Ineos, old Jim.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Ratcliffe. Is it Jim Ratcliffe? Isn't it?
Big Sir Jim Ratcliffe, yeah.
But what I found the Anything Aycliffe Facebook forum where people just post about Aycliffe, and it does. I don't know what the house prices are like there, Mark, but this is the first. This is one of the questions I saw in there. Hi everyone. I'm new to Newton Aycliffe, so apologies if this is a dumb question. I know there are siren tests every Thursday, but what sort of emergency are they for? Also, if they go off for real, are we supposed to evacuate the entire town? I'm not sure if I live in the danger zone. Thanks for the advice for any advance. So Zoe Tweddles replied to this. The blast zone only extends to the school. Ineos added a blast wall of earth around the site years ago, which greatly reduced any blast radius. It would certainly not take out all of Aycliffe, and it has nothing to do with the gas mains. The siren is for both on-site personnel and the general public that there is an issue. If it's just a mild leak, someone will come and tell you to close your windows. If it's a serious leak or risk, the siren will go off. If it does go off and you're in an immediate vicinity, I'd get as far away as possible. And then Daniel Gibson says, so just a little information for people. The siren will only go off when there is imminent danger to the surrounding area. The chemical used has a boiling point of minus 14 degrees, and it said any blast from this site will be felt up to 5 kilometres away. It will do some damage and will likely shower debris around the area. It's more powerful than exploding butane, for an idea.
Okay, all right.
As for the chemical itself, in the event of a blast, it's likely that most of the chemical will burn off in the main blasts. Secondary explosions may be likely. And then the third comment was from Brian Sowerby, just said, I was born in the town and was told years ago that if the siren goes off, then you ought to place your head between your knees and kiss your ass goodbye.
Cool.
Yeah. So
that sounds like a great place to live.
So, I mean... Wow, I didn't know there were places where there were sirens for the local residents to warn them they were about to be blown up.
Not blown up. I mean, Josie, where she used to live, they used to hear the siren from Broadmoor. That was tested every week.
Ah.
But that was more. But everyone knew apparently that when the siren went off, as I said, like you're supposed to stay in your house and close. Yeah. So look out, suckers about. Ba-da-ba-dum. It's like stay indoors, right? It wasn't like Broadmoor was going to explode, but only up to the school. That's amazing. Wow. Fabulous.
Yeah. So I guess I think my conclusion from this is that Norwegians are
hypocrites?
Sneaky hypocrites.
Sneaky hypocrites. Sneaky Nazi supporting hypocrites.
Yeah. And don't live anywhere near Newton Aycliffe.
No. I'm sorry about that, but no, I don't think I want to.
But good to have some more Norway content. I think Norway's our most overrepresented country.
Easily. I mean, certainly by population and landmass, it definitely is. I mean, I think it might be the place we've been to. I think we've been to Norway more than we've been to the States.
Yeah.
Which is mad, right?
Yeah. I thought about that.
It's utter bonkers. All right, last one, Russ. We can do it. Come on. Let's keep the energy going.
Meet Kraftwerk, or at least their robot doubles. The track, not surprisingly called The Robots, has just entered our pop charts. The German musicians that make up Kraftwerk are well known for their robotic style of performance, so it seemed a natural progression to have robot lookalikes. The Robots will be performing live as part of the band's tour this summer. Kraftwerk have always been a technically innovative band. In the early 70s, they were among the first to use synthesizers and rhythm sequencers, often building their own before they became commercially available. And the latest project is to build the robots. When this track's performed, the robots will become Kraftwerk and the humans will leave the stage. The same computer that generates the music then also controls the movements of the robots. Well, that's it for tonight. See you next week when we'll be drawing out the winners of our Out of the World competition. Space Age prizes include a trip to tour the universe from Toronto or witness a total eclipse of the sun from Hawaii. See you then. Good night.
Fan of Kraftwerk, Mark?
I'm going to go with no. I think I've always admired their shtick more than I've been a fan of their music, if that makes sense. Yeah, like I like their vibe. I can't imagine going to a gig or buying an album or listening to something.
I think their shtick is a bit too. When someone is behaving like they don't want to be a performer, I always think, why are you a performer then?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not a curse. You don't have to do it.
Yeah. I have to admit, I was one of the people that until relatively recently thought they were singing fun, fun, fun on the Autobahn rather than farn, farn, farn on the Autobahn.
Oh, well, I was today years old when I found out it wasn't fun, fun, fun on the Autobahn.
Oh, really?
So there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Partly because I just never really thought about it all that much.
Yeah.
I assume farn means fast, does it?
Drive means drive.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, obviously, then we think about it, well, of course they wouldn't be singing about fun.
No. No, absolutely. That makes no sense. But I suppose maybe I just assumed it was ironic.
Do you know what Kraftwerk means?
But now that you've asked the question, no, I don't suppose I do. What does it mean?
Power plant.
Power plant. Feel like I did know that, yeah. But, like, again, why would you retain that knowledge if you're not a fan of Kraftwerk?
But then that made me think, in the 80s, there was that supergroup, wasn't there, that was called the Power Station.
Yes.
So in Germany, were they also called the Kraftwerk as well?
Kraftwerk or something similar. Yeah, cool. What a great question. So were you a fan of Kraftwerk?
No. Like I said, they don't. I mean, I quite enjoy beepy boopy music, but I prefer the more sort of American house version of beepy boopy music.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure was probably influenced by Kraftwerk. But just because something is influenced by something doesn't mean I have to listen to the thing, is it? You know.
No, you can definitely enjoy that which is being inspired.
Yes.
And be grateful for the originator that provided something you love. You do not have to go back all the way to the start. Yeah, and let's be honest, this is just an advert for the new album and the tour that's coming up. Am I wrong?
The robots aren't particularly impressive, are they? They're just shop dummies with bendy arms, very slowly moving bendy arms.
And heads that obviously look like the band.
Kevin MacLeod.
Yeah,
well, one of them does anyway.
As you're really going to try and get that, you're going to make that a thing now.
Well, the first one does look a bit like Kevin MacLeod, I think.
And are they robots?
I don't. Did we discuss the definition of a robot before?
I feel like we discussed this before. Yeah. Let's assume they both are or aren't at the same time. Yeah. Did Kraftwerk make it into the future, Ross?
Yes.
I feel like they played at the Tate Modern about 2-3 years ago. And it was a big deal because it was such an exclusive event.
These blooming robots. So I misunderstood this segment, actually. I assumed that this was a new single by them. But actually, no, this is a 1978 single. It's just they happened to be zhuzhing it up for their tour by having these robots, right? But apparently they were still using these robots at least until 2008 because there was an article in an Irish newspaper about how it went wrong at one of their shows in 2008, and the curtains meant to come down for the swap over, and it didn't work properly. Yep. So you ended up with both Kraftwerk and the robots on stage at the same time, which is the last thing they wanted to happen.
No, nightmare.
So that means they were using those robots for at least 17 years, and I don't know,
Yeah.
So yeah, Kraftwerk had definitely made it into the future. Those robots may well have made it into the future. I would say the one interesting thing I discovered about Kraftwerk anecdote is that if somebody wanted to contact the band while they were in their studio, which was called the Kling Klang Studio, it's quite a good name for a studio, because they didn't want the sound of their phone interrupting their recording sessions. So they would just give people an exact time to phone the studio, and they would always just make sure they answered the phone at exactly the correct time. So there would be no ringing, but somebody would pick it up.
Fun guys.
But then when I was sitting waiting for you to come on the Zoom, I thought that's not particularly that different for this. What I'm doing now, is it? At the beginning of this?
No, yeah, kind of. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
I guess that's all I have to say about Craftwork, I'm afraid, Mark.
Fabo. Well then, Russ, I believe that is the end of the episode. Hey, Russ, do me a favour. Launch up your number crunching machine.
Okay.
So all we have to do now is, well, we have several things to do, but let's start with the first thing, which is discuss the year in context. Tell me about the cinema box office, roughly around the 30th of May, 1991.
Well, at number 10, we have The Doers, or The Doors, with recently deceased Val Kilmer as Jim Morrison. Number 9, you have Guilty by Suspicion, which I don't recognise. But it's a Robert De Niro, Annette Bening, and recently deceased George Wendt.
Oh, gosh.
Number 8, Misery. Great film. Number 7, Graveyard Shift. Don't even recognise any people in that. Number 6, White Fang.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5, Problem Child. Now, I remember seeing that at the cinema with Paul Ross.
Did you?
Yep.
As in Jonathan's brother?
No, a different Paul Ross, actually. Number 4, Sibling Rivalry. Interestingly, that's by Cole Reiner, and obviously Misery's by Rob Reiner. So 2 Reiners in the top 10.
Yeah, gosh.
Number 3, LA Story. I like that film. That's a good film, that.
I quite like that one as well, actually.
Number 2, The Silence of the Lambs.
Great film.
And number 1, Mermaids.
Yeah, okay, cool. Pop chart, Russ.
Number 10, Shocked, Kylie Minogue. Don't think I know that one. Do I recognise that one?
That doesn't ring a bell to me.
Number 9, Shiny Happy People by R.E.M.
Oh, yeah.
Number 8, Touch Me, brackets, All Night Long by Kathy Dennis. Number 7, Last Train to Trans Central featuring the Children of the Revolution by KLF featuring the Children of the Revolution. Number 6, now this is interesting, the way this is billed. Tainted Love featuring Mark Almond by Soft Cell featuring Mark Almond. Now, isn't Soft Cell Mark Almond's band? Is that like having like U2 featuring Bono?
Yeah, I don't understand that. That makes no sense to me.
Number 5, Baby Baby, Amy Grant. Number 4, Promise Me, Beverly Craven. Number 3, absolutely love this song, Gypsy Woman, La Da Dee by Crystal Waters. La da dee da 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 da.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, yeah, got you.
Number 2, I Wanna Sex You Up, Colour Me Bad. And number 1, the Shoop Shoop song, It's in His Kiss by Cher.
From the film Mermaids, right?
From the film Mermaids. That's a double whammy number 1 there.
Wow,
well
that's
done,
quite a rare thing.
Well done, Cher.
Well done, you. Advert, Russ. Now, even before you press play, and I see the title of this advert, all I want to say is, Russ, it's not all work, is it?
I was so excited when I discovered that this was from 1991.
I'm still quite junior, so I do a bit of everything, which includes keeping the cash machine loaded. No, it's easy. A bit like a photocopier, except the paper's more expensive. And I'll make sure I put plenty in. Because Saturday night I'll be on the other side of the wall. Funny thing is, when I was at college, I hated going into the bank. Suppose we all did. So the hole in the wall was a bit of a lifeline. Well, it still is. Of course we do. It's not all work, work, work.
When I saw the title, I just like a shiver went down my spine. Oh, brilliant! It's just like photocopying a more expensive paper. Perfect. No notes.
The thing about that, obviously, that uses Crockett's theme from Miami Vice. I'd never seen Miami Vice. I was far too young to watch Miami Vice. So that music to me is the Nat West music. Like,
yeah.
And I obviously loved that piece of music. I probably thought at the time, wow, why have Nat West got such a great piece of music on their adverts? Sort of thing. Another observation is he's clearly in Liverpool there, but that lad's...
Yeah. No accent whatsoever.
No, a hint of a Scouse accent.
Yeah.
And also...
Yeah, and how overly staffed is that branch? It's like a trading floor in the city of London. It's so busy.
Yeah, and a big iron gate on the front of the bank.
Yeah, that was brilliant. Yeah, it was good, that was.
I did want to... I might not put this in the episode, but I just want... There was one comment that I read which made me laugh. Where is it? It's coming here. Pete Black 76 says he does a bit of everything, including the bit of skirt in the office over the photocopy machine. And then the bloke replies, "Back in the days when you could, now you would get the sack most likely." And then the third person chips in with the good old days before everyone went gay.
Oh wow!
And you think,
let me have a look at these. Let me zoom in.
It's a bank advert, for God's sake.
Jeez.
How can you extract that kind of invective?
Oh my God! Have you seen the name of the person with the last comment?
Marky Russ. Oh yeah,
yeah. That's Spanish for us.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
That is weird, isn't it? That's spooky.
Oh, I'll have to include it now.
Oh my God. I mean, obviously we disassociate ourselves with the moral of those comments, but what a weird thing. Actually, what a weird thing to espouse in the first place. And then for two separate people to go, yeah, that's right, yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah. The other one I really liked was somebody at the top comment saying, "I find myself mourning the country I grew up in. These old ads bring it back." And somebody underneath has replied, "Good old banks."
Yeah, I think that might be tongue firmly in cheek.
So that was... I enjoyed that.
Oh, gosh. Well, for a second outing, that's two brilliant bits in a row there, Russ. Magazine covers?
So, New Scientist, Mysteries in Space, The Search for Extraterrestrials, Scientific American. It's got a really blurry picture of a cat, and it says, "Silicon sees a cat. This retina on a chip mimics the functions of cells in the human eye." I mean, it might do, but it's a really unimpressive image for your front cover of your magazine that you're trying to sell. Popular Science, Wild Weasels, Electronic Wizards of Desert Storm. There's a picture of a fighter jet.
Ooh, exciting.
I forgot the Desert Storm was it?
Yeah.
You know. Time Magazine, Orlando, Where Fantasy Meets Reality. The picture of a plastic dinosaur. Did you see that? Somebody comparing the Time magazine covers. There was a Time magazine cover from before the Iraq War of Saddam Hussein being whitewashed over.
Yeah,
and then there's one of the Ayatollah with
the Ayatollah being. Yeah, I did see that. Yeah, wow. Yeah. We have learned nothing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the good things about the Iran situation is we'll start having the Ayatollah on the front cover of Time magazine every other issue.
He's not the same. He's not as good as the old one.
He's changed the O to an A in his name.
Yeah. They've rebadged it, you fool.
14 Times, Credulity, Superstition, Fanaticism, Satan, Child Abuse and Social Workers. Keep it light. Private Eye, it's got a picture of the Queen and Prince Philip. US Royal Tour souvenir issue. And Prince Philip saying, "These Americans are terribly vulgar." Now, the irony of it is that the Queen and Prince Philip are wearing outfits that I've never seen them ever wear. He's wearing he's like wearing a short sleeve party shirt and a trilby, and she's wearing some sort of leopard skin, like snake skin thing and aviators. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know where they are.
Okay.
Or maybe somebody's gifted them the clothes and they felt forced to wear them. Not sure. Viz, the magazine that's not funny anymore, and that's official. Living Hell, Nightmare of Britain's Goldfish. We name the TV Lesbians, and good news for Baldies, Wonder Wig is on the way.
Brilliant.
And Playboy, Shannon and Tracy Tweed, A Great Sister Act, and a George Steinbrenner interview, and the Year in Music.
Fabulous. That's really going to fly off the shelves in Britain, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because this is even before Seinfeld told us who George Steinbrenner was.
But the thing is, people will see Shannon and Tracy and might think it's a birds of a feather.
Yeah,
mightn't they?
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to see. You want to see birds of a feather in Playboy, would you?
Probably not, Ross.
What about their next door neighbour? What was her name? Dorian.
Dorian. No. Not my bag. Other people's bag, I'm fairly certain, but not mine, Russ. It's time to audit then. Most important invention.
The thing that goes on TV screens.
God, we're really starting with a bad one, aren't we? I mean, yeah. The heat measuring gun thing, that worked.
That was probably very important during COVID, I guess.
Yeah, there we go. Oh, phew, let's go with that then. The most worthless invention.
The
interview thing.
Oh yeah,
the light column, right?
Yeah.
Because even the check bike gear thing. Oh, then again, I mean, I almost I'd rather pick that than something like the cube. Yeah. Because the cube is definitely like this could be something, as opposed to being told definitively, no, this absolutely is something, or it most certainly is not.
No,
that's no good. Okay, most inaccurate prediction of the future, but the cube.
Yeah, the cube. Even 10 years, we'll be using the cubes.
Yeah, absolutely. Worst screw up?
Well, Peter's thermometer, when he tries to demonstrate
the probe,
wants to probe a yogurt.
Yeah,
he tries to disguise it by suggesting that the yogurt is at 0 degrees. But I mean, no one's believing that. That's just that probe's not working.
Yep, big old lie.
And
big
also,
old lie. Yeah,
Howard flushes line at the beginning as well, doesn't he? What's he?
He does.
But it's not
Peter told me he'd be something near something hot, which almost sounds like a Freudian slip, except that it's quite clearly a flub.
Yeah,
maybe a besooted Macann exiting a TVR is exactly what gets Howard going. That's perfectly fine. Definitely no judgment.
Maybe they race each other in their matching TVRs.
Oh, that's quite sweet. It's kind of childish, but sweet. Oh yeah, which of those two then? The probe or the? I think the probe.
Oh
right?
yeah, probe. Yeah, that's more visible.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't help fluffing up a word or two, can you?
It's a live show. Best attempt at making something boring interesting.
What's the name hanging from the cake?
That's a good one. Yeah, I was actually thinking the Norway thing, but no, I think yours is better. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it definitely is that, isn't it? Best use of music. For me, it probably would be Vivaldi.
What about a Mastermind theme?
Yeah, why not? I suppose the thing about the Mastermind
Approaching Menace, I believe the song's called.
Yes, it does get you in a kind of a mindset of like high anxiety.
Yeah.
Which I think is kind of what they're going for. So yeah, I think that's a good use. That is the best use of music to kind of engender a kind of a feeling. Best or worst use of furniture, Russ? This might be a double back-to-back here.
It's the Mastermind
share, right?
Yeah. Of course it is.
Most notable clothing.
Well,
see, there's two ways of going, right? There is the Howard ensemble, or there is the absence of the Macann knitwear.
Yeah, but it's still just a boring grey suit, though, isn't it?
No, but what I mean though, it's the absence of the knitwear that is notable. Yeah.
No, it's got to be Howard's ensemble.
Yeah. All right. I'm just pushing it out there to see what happened. All right. Yeah. Of course, it's Howard. It's Howard's fabulous jacket, t-shirt ensemble. Did anything in the episode make it through to the future? Quite a fair bit did. Obviously, Kraftwerk did. Environmental audits.
The heat detector
did. Actually, I'm very impressed that I think we've rather glossed over it. Maybe the kind of the screen occlusion thing is very smart. Yeah. The fact that that's everywhere. The fact that I'm looking at you on this. Mm-hmm. Laptop screen and that it's in there is very impressive as well. So that made it through. Everything but the cube, right?
Yeah.
What did this episode tell us about the 30th of May, 1991? It's definitely the 90s. Give you that much.
Absolutely 90s, yeah.
Is it too much to say that that's post-Cold War dividend is paying off? Top dollar? Everyone seems to be kind of happy and fun. Even that Jimmy Savile alike in Prague.
Oh, yeah. I suppose, when I hadn't really thought about that.
The Purple Revolution, was it the Purple Revolution? Or was it the Velvet Revolution? When was that? I don't know. I meant to look that up, actually, but then I thought, I'm not supposed to look these things up.
That didn't even cross my mind that would be so close to...
Because it would have been relatively... December 31st, 1992.
Oh.
So, yeah, so it's still to come, obviously, because they do say... Do they say Prague or do they say Czechoslovakia?
Prague.
They do say Prague, don't they? Yeah, so it's still Czechoslovakia, but they all look happy. It's nice, isn't it? Nice when you see people on TV look happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So I suppose that's it. Everyone's happy. It's the 90s. It looks like everyone's got money.
Yeah,
There
you still
go.
got some 80s.
Yes.
Late 80s overspill.
Yeah, obviously, there's always an overlap, isn't there?
Yeah,
it's never the decade until you're halfway through.
You've got your flash sports cars and your
Gucci style power suit.
More concerned about businessmen than the environment.
Yes, very true. Brilliant. Tropes. Was there a presenter having to speak over louder sounds? Don't think so.
There was no loud machinery in this.
No.
episode.
Surprised that the cars weren't on, actually, but probably no bad thing. Maggie Philbin's sleeves don't match her body. Something to do with all the rigs? Nothing to do with all the rigs. Suspiciously obvious brand name on the ad-free BBC. There's plenty of that, actually.
Yeah.
Not least Sainsbury's and Kraftwerk.
I think the Kraftwerk count as a
it feels like an
brand.
ad, though, right? They've got a new single out.
I think Sainsbury's is the clear...
Yeah,
because there was no need for that to be so prominent, and for it all to be Sainsbury's goods.
Yeah, it's a bit sus.
Or Norsk Hydro, of course.
Oh yeah. Because they even, John Spears even says it's to get good PR right there. So he must have been pissing himself laughing when Tomorrow's World turned up. Clear and blatant lying.
Yeah, the test that was claimed.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is the central column of the reason we picked this episode, and yet it is, it's a column built on the rawest of sand. Evil farmers, I suppose.
Well, this is
the
thing.
Evil farmers evil if they hire a sociopath like Catherine to torture aphids,
and they essentially infect aphids with aphid AIDS.
I feel like this is the first time in maybe 2 years when I can click on that. Yeah. Because, these people aren't turning up randomly. They've been invited to do this. Even if it's the farmers have, they've farmed it out, I suppose, which is their whole thing, bastards. Sick freaks. Casual sexism, I'm going to go with yes, just because of the way John Spears keeps saying businessmen and kind of, no lab or space filled with darkness, just darkness.
Just darkness,
yeah. No Dutch angles, either literal or metaphorical. No items presented from the gantry. Dad joke from Howard. I think his sign off from the interview bit is a dad joke.
Oh yeah. He was absolute Banterosaurus Rex this episode.
You said it, Russ. Episode ends in a damn squib. I'd be tempted to say yes, to be honest, because of that Kraftwerk nonsense. Woolard or Macann abroad or common in a small European town? That's got to be a no. It's Judith this time. Lasers? Yes.
Yeah.
Any magnets?
No, I don't think so.
No. Any boats? No.
No.
And we don't travel to Shepherd's Bush to the best of our knowledge. Which just leaves me to say, Russ, that 1,409 episodes of Tomorrow's World were broadcast. We have covered 52, which means that there are a scant 1,357 episodes remaining, which means that we've audited 3.69% of these episodes, leaving 96.3 to audit, which at our current rate of roughly 12 a year means we'll finish in 2138. So...
Somebody got a new calculator recently.
I was just thinking, just thought of the other day. I wonder what percentage we've actually audited. So yeah, I'll just use the same spreadsheet I use for everything else. So yeah, there we go.
Been learning some spreadsheet program. Oh, incidentally, Mark, I suggest get rid of the Maggie Philbin sleeves don't match her body. And
and replace that with
it with niche bike invention that never goes anywhere or something like that.
Well remembered. We almost forgot. That's fabulous, Russ. So that will be. Can anyone at home wait for episode 53 now? So up there in the rafters next to the Stanley Kubrick trope, we now salute as we raise up the Maggie Philbin sleeves don't match her body trope,
and
we retire it.
Watch that
appearing every week now. She only wears tank tops.
Yeah. Well, Mark, I've got to go now. I just got my temperature measuring gun out, pointed it at my beer, and it is way above regulation temperature. So I'm going to have to go to the fridge and get myself another one. Yes.
Oh my God.
So love to see you again, Mark. Hopefully. We will still be here in a month's time. The world will still be here in a month's time for episode 53.
Fingers crossed.
It's
debatable.
Did you suggest that we do a modern one? I think you did, didn't you?
I did, yeah. My suggestion is we're overdue a little bit of, sadism and masochism. So yeah.
So that's something for you to look forward to. An episode that we'll almost certainly hate.
Yay!
But until then, if you are on the internet, we will see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.